AEW today. Obviously, they have dropped some absolutely massive news. You could say that tonight is going to be a big show. Right, yeah, I can't get over that joke. I did want to just seamlessly put it in, but it is so bad that we do need to take a second just to recognize that that was awful. That might be the lowest moment of any stream ever. But anyway, Big Show has been announced for AEW. He is a commentator on a brand new show called AEW Drk Elevation. Elevation. They better get that U2 song. Yeah, we've got some news that's going to be on the show as to who his commentator partner is going to be, his commentary partner. Apparently, they're going to announce that on AEW Dynamite tonight. So the surprises might not be done yet because they did announce earlier that they would be revealing more, including his commentary partner, tonight. What I can tell you about AEW Drk Elevation is, first of all, it's a rubbish name. It's too long. And why don't they just call it AEW Elevation? Why is it AEW Drk Elevation? So AEW Drk Elevation. I do this in my head. Elevation. Anyway, so yeah, and apparently it's going to start at 7 on a Monday. As soon as I heard that it was a Monday, I was like, oh my God. You know that GIF that does the rounds of The Office? And you've got the boss coming out and he's like, it's happening! It's happening! It was kind of like that when I saw that it was a Monday. I was like, oh, the proper war is beginning. But it turns out it's just dark. It's on YouTube. Starts at 7, so that's before Raw. And it's dark. It's more dark, basically. If you read the spiel, they talk about how it's a platform for young and exciting emerging talent and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. I was really hoping that this was going to be the new second
Wacky
show.
Ruby is a legend. They donated $1.99 via a super chat. Day's Big Show didn't sell out, he bought in.
Obviously, good shout. We are going to talk about Big Show and what we think about it. I was actually asleep. It was a little bit annoying, to be honest, because I've been awake all day. I was awake till about 3 o'clock in the UK, which is about 10 a.m. in America. And I went to bed at that point and woke up around about an hour and a half ago. About an hour and a half ago, I woke up. And obviously I was surprised when I first saw the news, but it literally dropped when I say minutes after I went to bed. I mean, I don't even know if it was minutes. Like, I went to bed just as that news came through, so I didn't see it. We would have done a video on it. It is big news. A Big Show, obviously, has been with WWE. I think it was something like 22 years. And so a lot of people only know him from WWE, but of course he was with WCW before that. He was the Giant. And also when he was on Stone Cold's Broken Skull sessions, he was talking about the fact that he knows that he hasn't been used right. His booking has been terrible. He said many times that, you know, he's disappointed largely with how his career has played out. I mean, he reached the top. He is a world champion and all of that, but he's not someone that's comparable to Andre. Difficult because he came along at just like really the worst time. I don't know how Andre would have coped during the Attitude Era. Like, it was just a completely different time in wrestling. So I do think that he was around at the wrong time. And as a result, you know, he was constantly turning face, turning heel. They were trying to use him for like shock moments and having him turn on tag partners and starting feuds, and kind of came a running joke, didn't it, about Big Show turning face, turning heel and everything. So what I would say is he is a legend. He is someone that's been around in wrestling for a long time. He was might still be the largest athlete in sports. Always comes across like a nice guy. Came across great in his interview with Stone Cold. If ever you see any shoot interviews with him, he always comes across as a really nice guy. I do feel sorry for him because I think a lot of that stupid comedy that WWE had him involved in I don't think was really his, that's not how he wanted to be booked. So he does bring something. The only thing I would say is that Big Show's name has really been run into the dirt. I think there's a bit of excitement out there, but I don't think he's the kind of name that's going to give you a big ratings boost, to be honest. I think had he have come walking out tonight, then you might have seen some, a nice little spike. But we've already seen with Sting, goes up to about 1 million and then very quickly comes back down to about 750. With Big Show, I don't even know if it would follow that same path. I feel like you would definitely get a rating spike, and there should be a rating spike tonight. But am I expecting tonight's AEW to do 1 million views? I can't say I am. I think that they've kind of given away a lot of information. I think they've used Big Show's announcement to get you to tune into AEW to find out more. They've used it to shout about a brand new show that's going to be on a Monday on YouTube called Drk Elevation. So they've managed to use his announcement for quite a few different purposes. So that's why it's not the surprise, because they've actually got people talking about all of these things before the shows have even started. So I don't mind them announcing it this way, but I don't see this resulting in AEW Dynamite doing 1 million tonight. And I expect
WWE Fan 11 Pro is a legend. They donated $2 via a super chat. I will be on the WWE Thunderdome for Friday.
WWE Fan 11 Pro, shout out to you. Have fun inside the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome. Lauren says, now that I'm able to watch both shows in Canada, which one is worth watching tonight? I have no idea. I have no idea what is going to be. I do know what's on the shows, but I have no idea how they're going to play out. Many times we've sat here and said AEW looks like it's got the better card, and then NXT is the better
C
show.
Money is a legend. So they donated $5 via a super chat.
C Money, shout out to you. Appreciate the support, my friend. It's hard to say, Lauren. I think both have got strengths and both have got weaknesses. I can tell you that more people tune into AEW than tune into NXT. But I can also tell you that I've rated NXT higher as these shows have gone head-to-head more times than I've rated AEW. So I think it's very difficult. I think people will tune into AEW tonight to get more of that news because it is a big story, as we said. It will provide a ratings bump, as we said. I just don't know if Big Show being announced as a commentator is Sting level. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel that Big Show is someone that always gets ridiculed whenever he's on TV. It's like, oh, the Big Show. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, right, Big Show's here. Like, people very much, they don't hold him at the same kind of level as a Stone Cold or a Rock or, a Sting or an Undertaker or any of those other legends because of how badly his career was mistreated and how many times, all the silly comedy stuff. But when I say silly comedy stuff, I don't mean like R-Truth. I mean comedy stuff that just wasn't even funny. So I think it really did hurt his brand. But there's no denying. I have to keep going back to it because there is no denying this is still big news. I mean, had I have been awake when this news dropped and I wasn't asleep, we would have done a video on this to have spoken about this and done a little breaking news thing. It's worthy of that. But as I said, I don't know if it's comparable to Sting. I kind of feel that Sting's was bigger. But so the little breakdown said that the little write-up said that he will, I think on top of returning to the ring was how they worded it. So on top of returning to the ring, Paul White, Big Show will also be. So it looks like he is going to be competing. It looks like he is going to be actually wrestling. So looks like he will be competing, will be wrestling. No news on that, how often that will be. I would imagine it'll be a part-time schedule. I would imagine that it will be like Sting, once in a blue moon, and then every week he'll do commentary. So, you know, kind of like that surprise person that enters the casino battle royal. Do you know what I mean? Who's the Joker? Oh, it's the Big Show. Things like that. I would imagine it'll be things like that. I should imagine he will have the occasional feud. You know, if someone needs a big guy in their corner, they've got Big Show. I mean, he's a good guy to have on the books, in all fairness. He's a good guy to have on the books. He's got name recognition. He is, you know, visually impressive. He is still huge. And for the longest time, it was teased that we were going to get Big Show Shaq. I can't remember if, like, you remember that. I don't know if you remember that, but it was WrestleMania. They were head-to-head, face-to-face inside the ring at WrestleMania during the Andre Battle Royal. And apparently it was meant to lead to a match, but it never did. So they could absolutely do that match in AEW. Again, I don't know how big of a deal it is, but whatever Cody is doing with Shaq, the end result absolutely could be in that tag match that Big Show gets involved, and we ultimately lead to Big Show versus Shaq, because that was a match we were meant to get years ago. So that might be one of the first ways that he actually gets physically involved in the ring. That would be up there with, you know, ways that you could book him. That way it kind of keeps Cody and it keeps Shaq looking strong. Doesn't damage like anyone coming out of that mixed tag match. And it builds towards Shaq versus Big Show, which is a match we should have got ages ago anyway. So yeah, it's all, as I said, it's all very, very interesting news. Oh, Austin says, yeah, we're going to get Big Show Shaq in AEW instead of WrestleMania. What a shame. Dave in Real Life says, Marco Stunt versus Big Show. Bucket Khan. Do you know what? Joking aside, I can absolutely 100% see them doing that match. Even if it's not a match, there will be a moment during a battle royal. There will be a moment where there's a big brawl, where the ring empties and it's Big Show and Marco Stunt, because visually that moment is too tempting to not book. I don't know if they do it as an out-and-out match, but 1,000,000,000,000% you will get that moment. There will be a moment where Big Show is standing over Marco Stunt. So, as I said, yeah, you know, there's loads of little things like that they can do with him. So, good shout, Dave. The real question is, will he be a heel or a face? Well, I'm sure he'll be both many, many times. Days, where is the clock? I did actually, you know what? Good point. I did set it up, but it's still it's showing the stream for whatever reason. So let me try and change that over. Boom. There we go. Rifty Fishy, shout out to you, my friend. Yeah, that is the big news today. The big news today is that Big Show has joined AEW. So what we need to do is we need to have a look at the breakdown for tonight, because there's lots of matches that are going to be on both shows tonight. So on AEW, as we said, Big Show has signed. I am expecting him to be unveiled on the show, if you will. Not that he's going to be standing under some kind of cloth, but they will bring him out, I'm sure. And the other thing is that, as we said earlier, they're going to announce his commentary partner. So there are more announcements. So we'll have to see. I don't know who that's going to be. I can't quite make my mind up if that's going to be some big name or it's not a big name. I can't figure it out. Like, have they announced Big Show because they're going to announce CM Punk tonight? Or, you know, as an example. Like, have they got another big name for the show? So they're like, okay, we'll tell everyone about Big Show before Dynamite. That'll get the buzz going. And then people will tune into Dynamite, and then we'll hit them with his commentary partner, whoever it might be, Alundra Blaze or, you know, whoever, another legend. I don't know. Or is it going to be someone like Excalibur, who never really made it in the big leagues, but was a big name on the indie scene? So is it a case they've announced Big Show and we're going to announce his commentary partner? Here's Joe Jenkins. Do you know what I mean? Here's like just some indie wrestler. I can't tell if it's going to be big or small. I don't know. I don't know how big this announcement will be, but we are going to get more announcements tonight on AEW. Matches. We've got Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose. I believe this is a quarterfinal match, and the winner will face either Thunder Rosa or Riho in kind of like the final of the American side. So we are down to 4 on that American side, I believe. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and winner faces Thunder Rosa or Riho. So we are getting somewhere with this women's tournament. I think it's disappointing that it's not been on Dynamite more. I think it's disappointing we've not had more matches from this women's tournament. A lot of it has played out. Certainly the whole Japanese side has played out on YouTube. As well as that, the Thunder Rosa Riho match is apparently going to be on Bleacher Report Live. It's not on Dynamite. It's not on Dark. It's not on YouTube. It's on Bleacher Report. I don't understand what that is, to be honest. So, yeah, just a bit of a shame. I kind of feel like they get criticised a lot for the women's division and not giving women more of an opportunity. And they've then come out with this tournament, and you go, okay, here we go. They're taking it serious now. And then it just doesn't really... It's not what we wanted. Like, I wanted more women's wrestling on Dynamite because consistently the women are putting on the better matches. Like, you keep watching Thunder Rosa and going, she's just had the best match on Dynamite. You keep watching Serena Deeb and you're like, she's just had the best match on Dynamite. Like, Britt Baker and Reba are like some of the most entertaining characters as well. It's kind of, I don't know if they've got analytics that just shows that by and large people just aren't interested. I have no idea. But for me, the women's wrestling that AEW do put on is amongst my favourite parts of the show. So it is disappointing. But with that being said, Britt Baker against Nyla Rose on the show tonight. Sting is making an appearance. We got Rey Fenix taking on Lance Archer. Jon Moxley taking on Ryan Nemeth. We've got Brian Cage and Ricky Starks taking on the Varsity Blondes. We've got Hangman Page against Isaiah Cassidy. Kip Sabian, Miro, Penelope Ford interview. And we've got Jake Hager versus Luther, I believe. So, I mean, how many matches there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches announced. 1 is a women's match. Over on NXT, we've got 5 matches announced and 2 are women's matches. So we've got Grizzled Young Veterans taking on Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. We've got the big one, Santos Escobar will take on Karrion Kross tonight. Santos Escobar against Karrion Kross tonight. Team Coral, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate the support. So shout out to Team Coral. That's my favourite team. I am now a part of Team Coral. Johnny Gargano is taking on Dexter Lumis. Xia Li is taking on Kacy Catanzaro. And Io Shirai is taking on Zoe Stark. So Io Shirai, Zoe Stark, Xia Li versus Kacy Catanzaro. That should be fun. I'm really into that story as well. So NXT, a little bit lost in the news today because of the Big Show news.
WWE Fan 11 Pro is a legend. They donated $1 via a super chat.
Shout out to you, dude. Shout out to WWE Fan 11 Pro. Hope you are well. Right, Big Show is Marco's inspiration in wrestling. He's said it multiple times in interviews, and he posted a picture holding a Big Show figure today, says Daniel. Days, did you see Rick Steiner's son has signed with WWE? I can't remember, to be honest. I know they've just signed a load of people, and there's a load of names that I don't recognize. So if one of them is Rick Steiner's son, then yeah, cool. Then I have seen that he's signed, but I didn't know it was Rick Steiner's son. But I know they have signed a load of people, like Millie McKenzie. They've obviously Priscilla Kelly, that Parker Bordeaux guy. So yeah, it's cool. But I think these are very much ones for the future. I mean, I know that Millie McKenzie's only about 20. Parker Bordeaux's about 23. Rick Steiner's son, I can't imagine is all that old. So, yeah, it seems like they've really recruited. They're taking their recruitment quite serious in regards to going after some of that emerging younger talent that, you know, probably would have ended up in AEW. I got to tell you, if I'm Vince McMahon, I am fuming today. I am absolutely fuming. I'm not fuming with Big Show. Like, I think Big Show going to AEW makes so much sense. I don't know why I didn't really think of it before, to be honest. Because, as I said, Big Show has said many, many times that he is unhappy with how he was treated and how he was booked, and he's frustrated. And I think Big Show feels that he's got a lot more to offer. Maybe not so much in the ring, but I think he's just frustrated. I think he's been frustrated for a long, long time. Like his career. I just think that there's moments that have gone his way, but by and large, I think he definitely would have wanted to have been booked differently. So him going to AEW to be given an opportunity to, you know, maybe do things that he wants to do, because, you know, they listen to the wrestlers more than what AEW do. They give them more freedom. They can cut their own promos. It's not as scripted. I think all of that was very appealing. So yeah, I think it's no surprise that Big Show has gone there. Well, it was a surprise, but it shouldn't really have been. But yeah, I'm not fuming at Big Show. I'm fuming at the fact they've got a show on a Monday. I'm fuming at that if I'm Vince, because even though it's on at 7, and even though I don't know how long it is, it might only be an hour. So it might finish just before Raw, right? So it could be an hour long and it could end just as Raw begins. So even though they might not technically be going up against Raw, the fact they've moved to Monday, the fact that they're expanding, like, you know, if I'm Vince, I can see it. I can see what's coming. You know that they are getting people used to watching AEW on a Monday, because they will make a move. No doubt about it. They are going to make a move. They are going to make a move. There will be a Monday show, a proper show. They're getting things in place right now. They're getting the teams sorted. Who's the Monday team? You know, okay, that's going to connect to Dark. You know, they can just, whenever they want, switch it, can't they? All of a sudden, this AEW Drk Elevation just becomes AEW Elevation. It becomes the second show. They can say it's the primary show. Dynamite becomes the secondary show, and it's on a Monday. The time slot's already there. Starts at 7. You know, they can do it so it starts at 7, an hour before Raw, and run it for 2 hours so that it ends after the first hour of Raw. And they could, if they wanted, hurt that first hour of Raw, because people will be watching the second hour of Elevation instead. So, yeah, if I'm Vince, that's where my concern is. And actually, do you know what I was thinking was, does this mean that Vince takes this even more serious now? Because I do think, by and large, he's kind of left it to Triple H. I think, I think what Vince has done is he's tried to prevent AEW from signing people by making sure all of his talent is under contract and that he's keeping big names away from AEW. So I think that's what Vince did. And he's basically said, right, you do the booking, you deal with AEW. And in all fairness, Triple H has failed. There's no two ways about that. Triple H has failed in doing that. NXT had, passionate fan base, good momentum, and then it's just not been as good of a show since it moved to USA Network. We've said that many times. This has got nothing to do with AEW. It's not as good of a show. I don't think the way they're using the talents, I don't think the way they're bringing people in, I think there's a lot of outside interference. I don't think the stories are as good. I think there's a lot of silly stuff that you'd see on Raw, like kidnappings, and I don't know. This wasn't the NXT that we had. It's not. It's NXT gone a little bit raw. That's what we've got now. It's still got the same DNA in there. You can still recognize elements of it, but it has gone a little bit raw. Now that it's gone onto the USA Network, maybe that was the USA Network's influence. Perhaps they've got a say in this, and as a result, they want it to be a little bit more like Raw, because Raw gets 1.7 million, and so they want this to do that as well. So they're like, well, why don't we just make it like that, because that's clearly what people like. That gets 1.7. This is only getting 600,000, so can we make it a little bit more like that? Who knows if those conversations have been had, but you do look at some of the stuff they've done and go, they wouldn't have done that before. So I have to say that for whatever reason, it's just not done it. It's not been able to really, it's not as if we're going back and forth on the rating. Like pretty much, AEW is winning every week. This isn't even a war anymore. So if I'm Vince, I'm fuming that NXT hasn't stopped AEW. I'm fuming that they're now moving to a Monday night and potentially going up against Raw. I'm fuming basically that this thing is now getting out of control. So with that being said, does he go hard now? Does he go big? Does he try and shoot this down? Are we now going to see NXT really stepping up and really getting some big names and really going after ratings and really, do you know what I mean, sticking it to AEW? Are we going to see Vince making some phone calls, bringing in some big names that, we've wanted to see for a while? Like, where are we with that big bag of money for CM Punk and all this kind of stuff? I mean, you give CM Punk a big bag of money and, you could drop him onto Raw or SmackDown. That might free someone up to then go to NXT. I mean, honestly, the number of wrestlers they've got on the books, that's not the problem. It's star power. They don't really have a great deal of star power on NXT. And I know that sounds a bit harsh, but you've got to understand NXT was a developmental. So a lot of the names there have not been shown off yet to the wider casual fans. Like, you needed to be a hardcore wrestling fan to be watching NXT. So people don't know Johnny Gargano. They don't know Kyle O'Reilly. They don't know Io Shirai.
Going Ghost is a legend.
They just don't know
They
them.
donated $5 via a super chat. What's up, Days? Hope
Hello,
you are
Going
well.
Ghost.
Why do you think Raw is on life support compared to SmackDown? What can be done to save it? New creative team?
I think wrestling, WWE in particular, have been going for so long, and they've done so much stuff, and they've changed so many times that they don't know quite what the audience want now. And I think the reason is because the audience don't quite know what the audience want now. I think it's getting harder as the years are going by. Harder and harder to know exactly what the audience want. And I said not long ago, I wonder if they've done a bit of an experiment to try and find out what the audience want. I wonder if on SmackDown they've been doing slower, longer storyline arcs, detail focused, and, you know, kind of this Roman story. I wonder if they've been doing that on SmackDown. Good, solid matches, like good stories, attention to detail, and that's SmackDown. On Raw, it's not that way. On Raw, you can get a lot of outside interference, a lot of the kind of wacky entertainment comedy stuff like R-Truth you expect on Raw more than on SmackDown. Big shocking moments like Alexa, like, you know, transforming mid-match, or Fiend being burnt alive, or whatever. You know, those kind of moments. Raw. That's not really SmackDown's thing. I wonder if there was a bit of an experiment to see what do people prefer. Do they prefer the storylines and the detail, or do they prefer like the kind of wacky entertainment, the big shocking moments? And honestly, I think people prefer good, solid storylines. I think the big shocking moments play well on YouTube, but you don't need to watch a 3-hour Raw to see those shocking moments in 2021. And I think that's why Raw ratings are at 1.7, because I think if you're a Fiend fan, right, and he tends to get most of the big moments, Fiend and Alexa, the bit like in recent weeks, it tends to have been, you know, Alexa transforming or popping up on a rocking horse, or her playground appearing in the ring, or whatever, right? They tend to be the big moments. Now, even though Raw's only doing 1.7, my feeling is if you're a fan of that kind of a thing, I think you know that there's going to be a YouTube video about it. So you don't need to sit through the boring 3-hour just dullness that is Raw. Like, just the absolute matches that don't matter and don't go anywhere. I mean, it's like Sheamus was competing for a, you know, to be a title opponent, whatever, and then that got changed out of nowhere. And now he's, you know, past week he's just been facing Jeff Hardy. So it's kind of like they just, things are changing and switching, and nothing really matters, and it's all just a bit ugh. You just don't need to watch that 3-hour Raw. If anything big happens, there'll be a YouTube video on it. So I think what we're kind of seeing is that with Raw, they've got a core audience of 1.7, but a big moment that involves The Fiend will do 3 million, 4 million on YouTube. And I don't think that is people watching Raw that then watch it again on YouTube and love it so much they'll watch it again and watch it again. I think this is people that are like, I like the Fiend moments, I like those big moments, but I ain't sitting through 3 hours of boring Raw, right? So they just don't watch. They just don't watch. And instead, they'll just watch it on YouTube. So I do think that there's a lot in viewing habits. I do think there's a lot in how people actually consume wrestling now. I think with SmackDown, it feels more like a show. I think that's important. I feel like there's a beginning. There's, you know, we go back to Roman in the middle, and then it tends to play out at the end. And it feels more like everything has got more of a purpose. It feels like the matches are a bit more important. Feels a bit like they're giving young emerging talent more opportunity over there. We're seeing Bianca kind of coming through. Big E is getting a singles run. But then when I look at Raw, I see Ricochet just slowly dying on Raw, whereas over on SmackDown, I feel like he'd be given a chance. So I feel like SmackDown being the land of opportunity is true. I also feel that they pay attention to their stories a little bit better and a bit more, whereas on Raw, I think they rely more on big, shocking storyline moments. I mean, look at Lacey's pregnancy. Now, I know that one wasn't planned, but it is still so Raw. It is such a Raw thing to do. So Lacey is in a feud with Asuka and Charlotte, and then out of nowhere announces that she's pregnant. Like, that is such a Raw thing to do, with Ric Flair like wooing away and everything. It's wacky, it's zany, it's funny, it's shocking, it's a talking point. Do you know what I mean? It's just, hot shotting, instant hot shotting, crash TV. That's what Raw is. These big, just lots of blandness and then a big moment to try and get you talking about it. And honestly, it's getting to the point where people are just like, I'm not sitting through this 3 hours of this every week. I can't sit through 3 hours of this. And over the years, it's just gone down. So how would you turn it around? Well, I think everything needs to matter more. I think the show needs to feel more like a complete show. I think there should be a story arc that connects it. And actually, I thought this week's Raw was a little better. Still not amazing, but a little better. At least we had, like, the story of the Miz. I mean, like, the problem is you've got the story of the Miz and Lashley, and I don't think they're the most over people in WWE. I'd have to see some numbers on that, but my gut feeling is that a story involving Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens is probably going to do you a better rating than a story involving Miz and Bobby Lashley, because I think it comes back to how they've been booked. Roman Reigns has been booked as a multiple-time WrestleMania main eventer, whereas look at Miz, he has not. He has been booked as a joke and the dirt sheet and him and Morrison, and you can't just easily turn that around. And it's the same with Lashley. Lashley was getting married to Lana not long ago. He's been booked like an idiot. Bobby Lashley's sisters and all of them awful segments. Now, all right, since he's been in the Hurt business, past few months, he's been booked like a killer. But you can't easily turn that around. So the people that they're trying to push at the moment are people that have been booked like jokes in the past. And it's going to take time to convince us that we now have to take these people seriously. And that's one of the big criticisms I've seen of The Miz being a champion. How am I meant to take him as a serious champion now? I think Lashley's doing well. I think people are taking Lashley seriously. It's just ratings-wise, he ain't getting you 2 million.
Anna Dawes is a legend. They donated £9.99 via a super chat. To hear Vince liked Shayna's MMA style, tell her to be original and just be her. Then see a match and pull her aside and tell her to tone down the MMA style and do more WWE.
Yeah, really good point, Anna. Really good point. Telling Shayna to do more of a WWE style match. I mean, they brought her in because of her MMA background, because she is a legit killer, because she is someone that's had MMA fights against the likes of Amanda Nunes. You know, anyone that's been in UFC have reached the mountaintop of MMA. If you even get to UFC, you've done really well.
Wacky Niribi is a legend.
So
they donated $1.99 via a super chat. Days I can't sit through 2 minutes of Raw.
Yeah, I understand. I do think this week's episode was better. I've seen even Wrestling Observer, who I do listen to sometimes, just to get their take on things. Even they said this week's show was better. They tend to lay into WWE quite a lot, but even they were like, this was a better Raw. And that's how we felt as well. Certainly how I felt. I did feel
Planet
that this
Dan is a
Raw
legend. They donated
like
£2 via a super chat. Angle is definitely next. Maybe he'll wrestle.
Angle is next. Maybe he'll wrestle. That's very interesting, Planet Dan. That is very interesting. I never considered Angle. Angle is someone that I think was a little bit disillusioned. I mean, yeah, that's a really good shout, actually. Because Angle obviously had left WWE and spent many years in TNA. So he's someone that will go to different company. So I can definitely see that. And I know that the end of his WWE run is not what he wanted. I mean, he loved the Ronda match. Why wouldn't he? I think he's got nothing but the utmost respect for Ronda. So being a part of that, I think he loved at WrestleMania 34. But then, you know, he has come out and said, I wouldn't have chosen Corbin as my kind of retirement match at WrestleMania 35. That's not who I would have chosen. But I think he understood that he was kind of giving back and that they were trying to give Baron Corbin a big win and they were trying to, you know, use him and like positively. But yeah, I could see him being a bit frustrated. I think if the money is good And you're starting to see a few names going over there. You know, Sting's over there. Big Show's now gone over there. I think, yeah, if the money's good, I think that's a really good shout. Angle is someone that could definitely end up going to AEW. Interesting. See, this is why I really love sitting and talking to you guys, because I mean, look at the comments that we've got there. The comments we've got there. So Anna throwing in that really, interesting information about Vince telling Shayna, I want you to be MMA style. And then when she does that, going, no, I want you to be more WWE. I mean, there's no denying Vince is a massive problem when it comes to the creative side of things. I'm not someone, though, that's constantly laying into Vince, because I think the reason that we all love WWE is equally because of Vince. I mean, if you think about The Undertaker and his streak, and you think about all of your favorite WWE moments, like ultimately outside of NXT, they've all been because of Vince McMahon. So as much as he frustrates us, and as much as he gets more wrong than he gets right, he gets a lot of big things right. I mean, he gave us WrestleMania, he gave us Hulkamania, he gave us The Ultimate Warrior, he gave us Undertaker, he gave us, all the pay-per-views, network, like, he gave us so much. He gave us, what we know, really, as pro wrestling. Now, who knows where it would be if Vince hadn't have come along? Maybe we would still have great memories, but they would just be different memories. So, who knows? I'd have to ask Parallel Universe Days what it's like in a non-WWE world. But, yeah, I'm not someone that's anti-Vince, but there's no denying that he's not helping a lot of what's going on right now, and he's certainly not helping Raw. I wonder if USA Network aren't helping Raw either. I wonder if Fox are just better at this. Fox are making it more sports presented, making it more credible, making it more, I don't know, just feel like it's a proper wrestling show. Maybe SmackDown is wrestling. Maybe Raw is entertainment. Joaquin, yeah, I understand.
Going Ghost is a legend. They donated $5 via a super chat. What if they brought back Bischoff on Raw and did an internal draft and have Team Bischoff versus Team McMahon or Team Heyman? Almost like an NWO versus WCW feud.
I think that ship has sailed, bud. I think that ship has sailed. I think, do you know, I was looking at Bad Bunny the other day. I was looking at Bad Bunny, right? And Bad Bunny's not the tallest guy. And he doesn't look like anything special. And this isn't me having a go at Bad Bunny, right? Because if anything, I've gained quite a bit of respect for him. Certainly since we found out he was the biggest streaming artist. I said this on the Wrestling Escape Pod. I was like, all of a sudden now I'm really starting to realise this guy, he doesn't need WWE. I've always thought that he did. I always thought that he was someone that was kind of like an emerging artist that kind of was using WWE for the exposure and whatever. I'm very quickly starting to realise this guy is already a big deal that really doesn't need WWE for more exposure. I'm sure it's not hurting, but I really think he's doing this because he's into wrestling. So, I don't know, man. The guy's starting to win me around as I'm finding out a bit more about him. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Put that to one side. I was looking at him and I was like, he is so popular. He is so popular. He's got like 8 billion streams and he doesn't look anything special. I certainly don't look at him and go, yeah, he is the cutest guy in the world. Like, do you know what I mean? I can see why the girls love this guy. Like, maybe they do. Maybe he is, but I don't see it. And it's just kind of like, have we got it a little bit wrong in wrestling? Like, has Vince got this a little bit wrong? Shouldn't like we be trying to push guys that look maybe a bit more like Bad Bunny, that have got like interesting character, they carry themselves, they've got like, I don't know. I just wonder if like Vince trying to push a Bobby Lashley, is that maybe not the right way forward in 2021? I mean, think about how popular BTS are. Could you not have a group of wrestlers that are like really cute? And could you not try and appeal to that kind of female market with them and have like a BTS kind of a group that go out and they're into K-pop? Couldn't you have like a K-pop group? What I'm saying is that I know as I'm saying it, you go, no, that's not what I want at all. I understand, right? But you can't keep catering to WCW fans and Eric Bischoff and NWO and people like that, because that is 20 odd years ago now. And is that part of the problem? Is part of the problem the fact that we're trying to cater to the Attitude Era, and we keep talking about the Attitude Era, and we keep talking about WCW, and we keep talking about Sting? Where's the kids? Where's the youngsters? Where are the things that the Attitude Era worked because WWE was mainstream. WWE was cool. WWE was part of the conversation. Right now, it is absolutely not cool. It is not part of the conversation. It's so out of the loop, it hurts. Like WWE, if it wants those big, successful days back, if it wants the Attitude Era again, you've got to be where the people are. You've got to be with what's cool right now. And I'm sorry to say that what's cool right now, I don't think is very cool, but you've got to be where the people are. And where the people are is K-pop, isn't it? And stuff like this. I mean, like, do you try and just cater a little bit to that market? Do you try and cater to where the people are right now? Because that's what they did in the Attitude Era. In the Attitude Era, what was cool was South Park, Jerry Springer, nu metal, and things along those lines. So they absolutely did that. The writers watched Jerry Springer. We had Limp Bizkit at WrestleMania. And they catered to... And actually, we even had with the oddities... Do you remember Golga with the Cartman thing? Like, what was popular was being brought into wrestling. But they don't do that in 2021. They have done it with Bad Bunny. And it's massively worked. Massively worked. Bad Bunny has got the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 best-selling T-shirts on WWE Shop. So, do you try to tap into that K-pop market? Do you try to tap into what's relevant right now, what's big right now, like they've done with Bad Bunny? I mean, we all sit here and criticize it, but I have to admit, he wasn't someone that I knew about. I didn't know that he was as big as what he was, and it's getting a result for him. It's not getting ratings, I'll tell you that, but I don't know what the ratings are in Latin America, and that is where his audience is. What they need is whoever the big star is. Who is the biggest star in North America right now? Who is the big artist in North America right now? I mean, they do get The Weeknd for the official WrestleMania themes, but they don't actually get him, do they? They just get to use his song. They need him. They need him at WrestleMania. He was at the Super Bowl. We know that Vince is a billionaire, so why can't he get Weeknd at WrestleMania? Like, where is the names and the star power that connects with Americans? I mean, Bad Bunny connects with South America, but where's the big names that connect with America and Canada and Europe? And like, they need to move there. So that was the Attitude Era. It's not, and I understand that it means making it less PG, but I just don't think you're going to be able to do that right now. I don't think USA Network want that right now. I think it's better for the advertisers if it stays PG. So a really interesting conversation, not one that I was expecting to have, but
Anna Dawes is a legend.
a really
They
interesting
donated
conversation.
£9.99 via a super chat. For me, the biggest problem is not just Vince. Wrestlers have evolved so much, but to pigeonhole people doesn't fit today's agenda. Boxing people into one lane only doesn't play now.
Yeah, it's a good point. Wrestlers have evolved much. To pigeonhole people doesn't fit today's agenda. Yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, the world is a much bigger place now than it was in the Attitude Era. So what I mean by that is, and I think what Anna's saying as well is, back then you could kind of get away with, but it wasn't getting away with. That's the wrong term. But there was stereotypes, and there was pigeonholing, and you could very much say, well, this group of people like this and that group of people like that. We're going to cater to, what's popular right now is this, this, and this, and you could list it. You could list it back in the day because the world felt smaller. There wasn't really wide stream internet. Do you know what I mean? It's not like everyone was on the internet and everyone was chatting away. And America was a mysterious place to me as a kid. It was a place that you saw on like travel shows, and we got American shows, and I suppose in a way you learn a lot about other countries from TV shows, but not TV shows that like showed you round, but TV shows like the A-Team, because the A-Team is based in America, so you get to see what shops are like by when the A-Team go to the shops, and you get to see what schools are like in America if the A-Team went to a school. And so you that's how I learned about what America looked like. Not from the A-Team, but from those kinds of shows. Do you know what I mean? Like any of those shows that I would watch as a kid that came from America showed me what America was like. There wasn't the internet. We didn't have the internet. I think we got the internet in like 1999, I think is when we first got the internet. Our family. Before 1999. Do you know what I mean? It was mind blowing when the internet came along and you could finally just search for anything, and that is definitely taken for granted. So, back in the day, things that were popular were really popular. Those were the things, because now I think you're right. There is more variety, because whatever you're into, there's a community for it. If you're into stamps, do you know what I mean? You can go online and there's all this information. If you're into coin collecting, if you're into gymnastics, do you know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, like, you used to not really have that catered for, or certainly not as easily. So, yeah, Attitude Era used to be what was popular, and that was more focused. What's popular now is more spread out, but they still need this. There are still popular things. There are still things that are that trend and are popular, and WWE need to position themselves there, and that's exactly what they've done with Bad Bunny, and it's worked for them. So very interesting, though. As I said, very, very interesting. Could it be Renee Young on commentary, says Daniel. Wow, imagine that. Renee Young announced on commentary. Woo, Daniel. Yes is the answer. It 1000% could be Renee Young on commentary. Isn't she pregnant, though? She announced she's having a kid, isn't she? So I don't actually know how far along she is in that pregnancy, but yes, that's a bombshell you just dropped there. William said it's difficult now because there's so many people on the internet. There's so much digital influence. We live on the web and we connect globally. It is great for humanity, but not so much for everything else. What the fans want is well-told, detailed stories and mainly great in-ring action, which Raw could easily do, as WWE's roster strength is ridiculous. Vince is just a man out of time, too stubborn for change, says BBNJJ. I like that. I think you are right. I think yeah. I think you nailed it. I mean, that is what I look for. I like well-told stories. It's well documented. I like those stories to be based in reality, because I think that wrestling, it is still real to me. Damn it! I mean, when I grew up, you didn't know if wrestling was real or not. I mean, you didn't know. Famously, in '96 was the curtain call, where when Nash and Scott Hall were leaving for WCW and whatever, at Madison Square Garden, or they came out, as did Triple H and Shawn, and there was a big moment in the ring where they all embraced. And it was called the curtain call because it happened after the show. The problem was they were heels and faces at the time, and they got in a lot of trouble because even in 1996, heels and faces
Always Big O is a legend.
couldn't be seen
they
together.
They donated $2 via
it was
a super
big
chat.
No-no.
Maro.
It was a big no-no that heels and faces were seen together. And that was as recent as 96. That was as recent as 25 years ago. So I grew up with wrestling being real, being believable, being protected. Kayfabe was important, and I just think that wrestling now is going through a bit of an identity crisis, whereby the cat's out the bag. It's still, even after like 20 years of the internet, it still doesn't quite know where to position itself. It's kind of like, okay, everyone knows that this isn't real. Do we still pretend that it's real? Or do we just go wild like with The Fiend and Alexa now? Do we just, I don't know. What do people want? And I really think that they don't quite know what people want. I think they don't quite know where they should position themselves, because if they're real and they present real, then you've kind of got the UFC for that. And they're, how can they... The thing is, they can tell better stories than the UFC. The thing with the UFC is that, that is very much a different thing. I kind of think, I agree. Just tell stories. Just tell stories. Good stories. And the details do matter as well. So, but yeah, I think they're still trying to figure it out. 20 years after the internet has been around. What should we do? What do people want? But I've got to say, I think what people are looking for could be changing as well, because there are people out there that want the supernatural, that want the non-realistic stuff. Definitely, there's people out there. It gets crazy views, so there are people that want that as well. So I think there's a wide variety as to what people are looking for when it comes to wrestling these days. And I think WWE are really trying to figure out where they're going to land. And at the moment, I think they're trying to do a little bit of everything. And we'll have to see what they settle on. We'll have to see what comes, like what the future holds when fans come back. And we'll see where they land. Right, Always Big O said Mauro. I don't think Mauro has had a lot of challenges. He's got like, I don't know if it's bipolar, but NXT couldn't have catered more for Mauro if they tried. He was working from home during the pandemic. They bent over backwards for him. If he couldn't make any of the shows, it wasn't a problem. There was a few shows that he missed, and it was like they just covered. And it just wasn't an issue. I don't know that NXT could have done more for Mauro than what they did. SmackDown wasn't good for Mauro, but NXT, I don't think they could have done any more. So him being on AEW would be a big surprise to me, because I don't know what AEW could do that NXT didn't. So I need to just quickly run and just press a button, because annoyingly I've got a little pop-up message on screen. And if I don't press a button and get rid of it, I won't actually be able to see the screen. So I'm going to just press this button so that I can watch NXT, which is just about to start. So give me 1 second. Oh, not the alarm! That's like the worst time! Stupid alarm! Okay, hang on. Right, this is all going wrong now. I've pressed the wrong button and the alarm's going. If you are just joining us, welcome to the AEW NXT... Oh my God. What button have I pressed on this? Hang on. Right, that's done. Solved that. Solved that. That's sorted. Okay, stay cool, everyone. Stay cool. If you are just joining us, welcome to the super professional AEW NXT stream. Okay, Moxley's coming down. We've got Moxley on there. We've got Karrion Kross on there. We're all good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the most professional watch-along on the internet right now. No one has this level of professionalism. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're up and running. Here we go, baby. So, Dexter Lumis is in the ring for NXT. Davey Boy Smith. What about Davey Boy? Davey Boy Smith followed me. That's very cool. He's been saying a lot about going back to WWE. So he could be popping up in NXT UK soon. Right, it's AEW. We've got Nemeth. Finding Nemeth. Nemeth taking on Moxley. Who the hell is Moxley? Moxley, there we go. It's Little Ziggler. Oh, there's Little Ziggler popped out. Little Ziggler all over AEW right now. Lol. Right, The Way are making their way out on NXT. So we've got Johnny, Candice, Austin Theory, Indy Hartwell. I like The Way. I think they're fun. But as I said, I don't need any more kidnappings, right? I really don't need any more kidnappings in wrestling. And obviously, Austin Theory was kidnapped recently by Dexter Lumis. So we've got Nemeth throwing in some knees into Mox's midsection. We've got The Way coming out. Austin Theory with some ripped shorts. Theory is going to be a big, big star. I don't know what they're doing. Right, they've come out and we've got all four members out there. So we are building towards Gargano versus Dexter Lumis. I believe that is a non-title match. How'd you feel about Big Show signing with AEW after being with WWE for 22 years? We said earlier, it was a surprise. I saw the news when I woke up, and I was certainly surprised. But thinking about it, it shouldn't have been that much of a surprise because of the fact that he's been so outspoken about being upset at how he's been booked. So I think WWE for 20-odd years has been the only place to go. Do you know what I mean? I know that TNA was there. And I suppose in a way I was quite surprised he's never been to TNA. But, yeah, I think, he's done with WWE. They bring him in for the odd appearance, but they don't bring him in for anything exciting, do they? I mean, I suppose he had a match with Drew straight after WrestleMania 36, which obviously we saw. Did we see that at WrestleMania? I can't remember. I can't quite remember how it played out. Did WrestleMania 36 end with Drew as champion, and then the next night on Raw, they said there was something that happened after WrestleMania, and then they showed us Big Show coming out? I think that's how they did it. I don't think Big Show came out at the end of WrestleMania, did he? Lumis, they were looking under the ring, and he sneaks up behind Johnny. Anyway, all of that to one side. He's been frustrated for a long time, so him going to a rival company where he's going to have a bit of freedom at this stage of his career makes sense. It does make sense. I'm pleased for him, As I said, even though he is someone that might not have the biggest name in wrestling, I think he's still well known and people respect him. Right. Moxley's cutting a promo now after winning. There's lots of cheers and boos. So Moxley says that he'll crawl through barbed wire and landmines to get his title back. What images come to mind when you hear the words explode in barbed wire? Clowns. Moxley says, fire, blood, burns, and agony. I was close. Are you disgusted? Yes. Yeah, my hands do shake, yes. Exploding barbed wire. Is your computer plugged in? Yeah, it's plugged in. No, it should be charging. Everything's fine. I don't know what the the alarm that went off is, I think, when just lets me know the shows are beginning. Is AEW live or pre-recorded? Sometimes like both. I don't know what this week is. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's pre-recorded. I'm watching AEW, says Chris. Exploding barbed wire equals horrific farm accident. Jota says, Days, Tony Khan said on a podcast that there are more people coming to AEW. He also said there are young superstars and legends coming. The ladder match in Revolution has a secret entry. Exciting. Right, NXT's gone to commercial break. Tell you what, the crowd are quite vocal here. This is a decent promo from Moxley. I know we've had a bit of fun with it, but fair play. He's cutting a good promo. He says, you're not the first person to try and take me out. When it's all said and done, you will know that I gave you everything. He's talking about if it is all over, if it does all come to an end. So he's talking as if, like, it is going to be his final match. I mean, it won't be, but it's just a way of building it up, so it's good. So he says if that is going to be his last match, you will know that he gave you everything. So I do like that because he's really building up, like, the fact that this could be the end for him. You know, he's building up the danger. He's building up the threat of that exploding barbed wire death match. That was good. It was a good promo. I still think the exploding barbed wire death match is silly. But I do think that promo was good. Well, there we go. Bembo says, Days, did Linda love watching your dong last night? Oh, I don't know if she was watching your dong, to be honest. She does love watching your dong. She's a big fan of your dong. Right, NXT is still at commercial break, and we've just got a little video package looking at the history between Moxley and Omega, most notably the last time they faced each other in that match at the end of 2019. And then at the end of 2020, Kenny beating Moxley for the championship. Days, imagine Mick Foley at AEW. They could do an absolutely insane hardcore match between him and Moxley. I don't even know if he can go anymore, bud. And I'm not just saying that in the sense of like he might not give you a good match kind of a thing, but like physically, I think he is so battered. I don't even know if he can walk properly anymore. Like, I don't know that he's in a great place at all physically. So they could definitely bring him in, and he could definitely play a role. But I don't know. I really don't know if he would be able to have a match. I think Foley is done, says Slim Jim. LSW says, everyone is saying the commercials on the USA Network are hilarious. Oh. Days, they've renewed Cobra Kai for season 5. Ooh. I do like Cobra Kai. Right, we're still underway on NXT with Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano. Gargano jumping onto the back of Lumis. Looking for a Russian leg sweep, but not able to get it. Lumis picking up Johnny, backbreaker. And the members of The Way are still at ringside watching on. We're backstage with Lance Archer and Rey Fenix. Terry Funk versus Bray Wyatt in a Extreme Rules dream match, says Bryce. Is this the way they'll write Moxley off for the baby, or is it too early? It's a good question. It's a great question, Lauren. I have no idea, is the answer. I have no idea. I don't know how far along she is, because I don't know how pregnant she was when they announced it. But it might be a little early, but she is showing a bump. When we saw her at the Royal Rumble, we could start to see a bump. So I don't know. Rey Fenix versus Lance Archer. We've got that coming up tonight. It would make sense, I suppose, that they would use this to write him off. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose tonight. Jake Hager, Brandon Cutler. Oh, I thought it was Luther. Hangman Page against Isaiah Cassidy. And we've got Sting as well. NXT should do their shows on tour like Raw and SmackDown after COVID. We might see that. We might see that. Spinebuster by Lumis on Johnny. Lumis going for the cover on Johnny, and Johnny kicks out. Billie Kay doesn't need anybody. I love Billie Kay. I wish they could find something for her to really get her teeth into. I think she's very, very funny, but she just doesn't really have much of a story. The kind of story they're telling is that she's kind of getting involved with the Riot Squad, and some weeks she's helping them, some weeks she isn't, but I wish there was something a little bit more than that for her to get her teeth into. Billie Kay and her resume. Austin says, Days, I think WWE Shop will give away Billie Kay resumes if you give away an I'm only 21 t-shirt. I've been asked for them a few times, actually. Billie Kay is mega funny, says William. William, shout out to you. What does AEW stand for? All Elite Wrestling. I could make up something funny there, but I feel like that's a real question. Karaku says, did you hear the news that Big Show joined AEW? I did. Nakavoy Production, shout out to you. AEW has gone to commercial, and NXT is still underway. Candice is providing a distraction. Austin Theory has gone round to grab a chair. And he slides the chair in. The ref is still distracted. So the chair is in the ring. Dexter's standing on the chair. You see, it's that kind of stuff that I think just really hurts NXT. I feel like NXT could just have... This should just be a great match. But there's all this, like, other stuff that's going on. Austin Theory is thinking of hitting Dexter with the chair. He's hesitating. He's face-to-face with Dexter. He's trying to explain that he wouldn't really hit him with the chair. Indy Hartwell looks bored. Can you see Indy Hartwell on the edge of the ring? Just like... She just looks bored. Lumis has got his submission hold applied. So Gargano is fading. There's arguing going on between Candice, Indy, and Austin Theory. Johnny has been put to sleep. I kind of feel like that match was all right, but... I mean, look, Johnny has just been put to sleep. Candice isn't concerned. She's just shouting at Austin Theory. I think this is a mess, to be honest. I think this is a mess. It's just not what NXT used to be. I think they just don't know what they're doing at ringside. You've got Indy Hartwell looking bored. You got Candice not showing any concern for Johnny. Instead, she was shouting at Austin Theory. They tried to put a little bit of comedy in there with Austin Theory. I mean, you've got Dexter Lumis that's like this trained killer, and they're kind of putting it in with like a bit of comedy, and it's all a bit clunky and disjointed, and I don't know, man. Not feeling it. So we don't have Wade Barrett in person, but he is a remote correspondent. So they're having some fun with that. We've got Vic Joseph, we've got Beth Phoenix, and we've got Wade Barrett, a remote correspondent. Over on AEW, we've got the Varsity Blondes coming out. So they've won 4 of their past 6 tag team matches. I like the Varsity Blondes. I think they're cool. And we've got MSK, who I think are really cool as well. Really have enjoyed them on NXT. So, obviously, winners of the Dusty Classic.
They donated $5 via a super chat. Other than Cole, Kross, or Gargano, who do you think could be called up from NXT to WWE?
Going Ghost, shout out to you. Other than Cole, Kross, Gargano, who do you think could be called up to WWE? Well, I mean, the first name that would come to mind would be Io Shirai, other than those names that you've put there. I know that might be a bit obvious because she's the current women's champion, but I do think that she's being booked quite dominant at the moment, and she's got a good run, and as soon as her championship reign is over, she's been in NXT for quite a while, I think there's a good chance that she could get called up. I think Raquel Gonzalez absolutely is on her way, but we're not there yet. In regards to the guys, I think Theory is going to be down there for a little while. I think he named a lot of the big names. Damian Priest obviously has just gone. I'm trying to think if there's any big guys. I mean, you got Bronson Reed, but I don't know. I don't feel like he's kind of really sorted his character out yet. So, what are the big guys? Have they got Lumis? Lumis will be good on the main roster, but I feel like he's just... I don't know. He's still not quite right They still haven't pulled the trigger on Lumis. I don't feel like his character is... I feel like he's got a good character. I like the fact he's silent. I like the fact that he uses... I don't know about the caricatures, though. That's the only thing. Like, he's this absolute killer, but an absolute killer that likes to draw fun caricatures. I don't feel like that fits. So I don't think that... I think if the drawings were darker, then that would work. And I'm sure he's got the ability to draw darker images. I mean, he's meant to be like this dark, drag you under the ring, stalking, kidnapping, but equally he can draw lovely pictures, funny character, cartoon pictures. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I wish that Lumis was drawing darker images, and I wish that they were like booking him a bit more. I don't want to say booking him more serious, but they've got him in there doing this comedy stuff with like Austin Theory. Granted, it's Austin Theory that's doing the comedy, but I think they need to get a bit more serious with Lumis. And then, you know, he could be there or thereabouts. We already know he's a great wrestler. And his character's pretty much there, so maybe Lumis isn't all that far away. We've seen with Damian Priest, you don't need to be an NXT champion to be called up. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he needs a title run. You don't have to go that way. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to Cole and Gargano, I don't even know if they're leaving NXT. They could be lifers. They might just be staying in NXT. Right, I need to change this over anyway. I'm doing a bad job of keeping things updated. We're just chatting away. So, we've got the Varsity Blondes versus Starks and Cage over on AEW. Did you watch the Big Show show? I didn't. No, I didn't. It was on my radar, but I got to be honest, the reviews weren't brilliant, and it wasn't something I ever got around to watching. I would love to see Balor back on the main roster with his current Prince gimmick, although Vince might ruin him, so I don't know about that, says Brony. AEW have got Anna Jay. Can they sign Sarah Jay as a tag partner, says Kevin. She's out injured, isn't she? Anna Jay, it was announced, was it yesterday, out injured for 8 to 12 months. Pretty serious injury that she managed to pick up. So, yeah, that's a real shame for her, because she was someone that they were really not heavily invested in, but she was like the female in the Dark Order, and she was getting regular matches. So that sucks. To be. I think when it comes to like wrestling, to lose a year of your career, granted she's still young, so it's not as bad, but at any point in your career, because it is a limited shelf life, you obviously can't do it forever. I mean, you can do it till you're in your 40s, but maybe not at the top. Maybe not in the big leagues. Can you do it till you're in your 40s? Depends how good you are. Depends. Do you know what I mean? How big of a star you are. But yeah, a real shame that she's going to lose that time. Ricky Starks is in control here. Days, would you like to see Mitch Bennett be all elite? Mike Bennett, do you mean? I don't mind. I'm not a massive Mike Bennett fan. He's not someone that was really ever on my radar. I think they've got a lot of people around that level. I think there's a decent mixture. I mean, what we're watching now, I think the Varsity Blondes are a great tag team. Ricky Starks is a great solo star. Brian Cage could be a killer. Like, I feel like what we're seeing right now is solid. This is good. These are good people to have on a roster. These 4 guys that they've got in the ring right now. So I suppose you could add to that with someone like a Mike Bennett, but I really feel what they need are, maybe a few more main eventers, to be honest. A few more big names. I think they struggle with the main event scene. And what's crazy is they brought in someone like Miro, and they've just buried him. They've just brought him in and moved him to the side. He hasn't been brought in as a main event talent, but he absolutely is. So they can always pull the trigger on him. He's there, which is, the most important thing. But how they've used Miro so far has been disappointing. But I suppose the advantage is he can turn, can't he? He can turn on Kip Sabian at some point, throw off the pajamas, the Versace pajamas, and he can become the killer that we want him to be. So Tyler Rust is coming out on NXT. Amazingly, we're already nearly a quarter of a way through these shows. The first half an hour always goes so quick. So Tyler Rust making his way down. I missed who he was facing. Obviously part of Biven Enterprises, and Tyler Rust getting a nice entrance there. Leon Ruff backstage. Burger King isn't that bad. Days, what's your thoughts on the Shevchenko fight being announced? I didn't see it. Warsaw Tilladai, who's she facing? Who's Valentine? Who's she facing? Let me have a look. Shevchenko. Against Jessica Andrade. Well, I mean, what I would say about that is Jessica Andrade, great fighter. A really big fan of Jessica Andrade. Just seeing here that, she's got a record of 21-8. She's a former champion. She beat Rose Namajunas, but Rose obviously getting her win back. She's someone that is a good competitor, solid competitor, UFC standard. Not the level of Valentina Shevchenko, though. Is she someone that could cause an upset? Absolutely. She is. So I'd be excited for that fight, but she's not the same level as Valentina or Amanda Nunes. But I've got to say, it's one of the best fights you could book, really. There's not really too many people on Valentina's level or Nunes's level. And they've already done Shevchenko Nunes twice. Maybe it's time for a third, but you've got to give others a chance. The problem is there's not many others. Right, Leon Ruff is coming out. Michael Bivens was cutting a promo there, but it looks like it's not going to be a promo for long. Looks like it is going to Tyler Rust versus Leon Ruff, which should be a fun little match. Oh, okay. Isaiah Swerve has attacked Leon Ruff, so we might not be getting that match.
Jennifer Lockhart is a legend. They
Jennifer
donated
Lockhart.
$5 via a super chat. Where do you think Nick Aldis would benefit the most out of? I don't think he needs either, but I do miss seeing him weekly. Imagine Aldis versus Roman.
I think Aldis would have to go to NXT or AEW first, unfortunately. I think someone like AJ Styles was such a big name in Impact and then carried that on with New Japan. I don't think that for Nick being in Impact and then going to NWA, I mean, we have to be very honest. NWA was not drawing in tons of viewers. NWA Power was very much, a niche promotion, unfortunately. It's one that we watched. It's one that we loved and enjoyed and really was a part of. But I don't think Nick Aldis is going to be walking straight onto a main roster, even as NWA champion. I think it's going to sit in... Well, we've seen, Thunder Rosa, NWA Women's Champion, went to AEW. I think Nick Aldis could go to NXT. That's where I would like to see him go, because I agree with you, Jennifer. I would love to see him hitting that main roster. I think he is someone that is legit. I think he carries himself like Ric Flair. I think he wears sharp suits. He looks like $1 million. I love Nick Aldis. I think he's the real deal. And there's not really a champion like that. Roman's doing the tribal chief thing, but it's a little different. He doesn't really walk around in sharp suits. I suppose you got the Hurt Business. Bobby Lashley was kind of doing that sort of thing, but yeah, I do think that Nick Aldis is somewhat special. We're just hearing from Zoe Stark. Slight technical issue. Few technical problems there. I don't know what that was. So there was a Zoe Stark interview. We just saw an image of EO. And here comes Zoe Stark. So I don't know what that technical glitch was. Right, Stinger's come out on AEW. Sting pointing up to the rafters, and Darby Allin is sliding his way down to the ring. Kicks by Sting. So Hook was in the body bag. Darby Allin has come sliding down a la Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12. And is now pounding away. Okay. Nick Aldis, I think, would go to NXT first. Hopefully wouldn't have to stay there too long. Would bring the sharp suits, the Ric Flair vibes, the NWA champion vibes, the respect, the tradition. He would bring all of that. And then hopefully go to the main roster quite quickly, because I do think he would have a lot to offer to either Raw or SmackDown. He's kind of like that Ric Flair, that JBL, that kind of, do you know what I mean, sharp dress. I suppose The Miz is doing that sort of thing. But The Miz is a bit... He's one of those heels that kind of needs to cheat to win. He's one of those kind of heels that, he does a lot of comedy and all that kind of stuff. I think, Nick Aldis has got the size. He's got the wrestling ability. He's got the tradition. He's got the history, the heritage, the NWA championship at the moment. And, I think he would bring a lot to a main roster. So I would love to see Nick Aldis join in either Raw or SmackDown, but he would surely go to NXT first. Andres says Lashley got the highest views on YouTube this week, 2.2 million. That's interesting. Days, what NXT superstar leaves for NXT for Raw or SmackDown? Should Shotzi or Ember go to Raw? Ember's only really just arrived in NXT, so I don't think she will. Shotzi, I absolutely can see going. I think they love her tank, her green hair, her potential connection with kids, to be honest. I think she's very toyetic. I think you can make loads of Shotzi figures. I'm sure they'll make her tank. I think she's going to look great in a computer game. I think she's the kind of person that they love for Raw. So I think Shotzi's a very good shout. I don't know if they feel she's ready yet, but yeah, I can see her getting called up. But I think Lumis, I think Shotzi, I think they could be the next ones, in all fairness. I think that's a very good shout. We've already seen Shotzi has been used at the Royal Rumble many times, and she came out of the Royal Rumble this year in her tank. So, I could definitely see her getting called up. Days, do you think WWE would still put the Big Show in the Hall of Fame? Not whilst he's with AEW. No way. No way will he go into the Hall of Fame whilst he's in AEW. My issue with Big Show going to AEW to be why having him on a new show for new talent. Why wouldn't you get up-and-coming commentators or hire women for the women's division? Well, I really think, and I could be wrong, but I really think that they are using this show as a way of just getting people used to watching AEW on a Monday. I think they're a bit reluctant right now with the current roster that they've got to launch a second show. I think they're a little bit reluctant to launch like the second AEW Dynamite. So what they're doing, and this is just my theory, what they're doing is they're launching a show on Monday. It's AEW Drk. It's going to show upcoming talent. They'll slowly but surely make it relevant to Dynamite. And at some point, that show will switch. And there will be an announcement. There will be a Monday night show. And you will then get like the second Dynamite. We're just watching on an iPad that famous moment where Cameron Grimes watching it and loving it. Watching the $1 Million Man. I like that. I really like that. For those of you that never saw that moment back in the day, $1 Million Man chose a kid out of the crowd and he said he'd give him $100 if he could bounce the ball 10 times in a row. And I think he got to 9 and then $1 Million Man kicked it away. So Cameron Grimes is going to try it. I hope he fails. 3, 4, 5.
Going Ghost is a legend. They donated $5 via a super chat. You brought up the Hurt Business. It would be awesome if they brought in a lady to compete for belt. If so, who would fit that role? Ripley?
So I can tell you that he did manage to do it, and he's just had to give that guy $1,000. So there we go. That's quite fun. It's nice to look back at some of those classic moments from WWE, and I think they probably could have executed that a little better though. But it was nice to have a little callback to that, because this new Cameron Grimes has got money persona. Definitely is connected with like a JBL or a $1 Million Man. So it'll be nice if he like watches a few of their kind of highlights and gets inspiration from them. That would be a nice little thing to do. We've got this sit-down interview with Tony Miro, Kip Sabian, and Penelope Ford. Right, Going Ghost said, you brought up the Hurt Business. It would be awesome if they brought in a lady to compete for a belt. If so, who would fit that role? Rhea Ripley. I kind of think that Rhea Ripley is a bit of a lone wolf, to be honest. I kind of see her as a little bit of out for herself. A bit like Shayna Baszler. Just kind of like out on her own. No one can really control her or tell her what to do. I don't know. Who would fit in with the Hurt Business? I mean, an obvious name is Naomi, but I don't know. I kind of think I would much rather see Naomi be over on SmackDown and be involved with this whole Jimmy and Jay Roman story. I think Naomi could really stand up to Roman and try to convince Jay to come back from the dark side. So I would much prefer Naomi to be in that story. So who would you put in? We'll throw it to the chat. I don't know that Rhea Ripley is the way that I would go. But equally, I'm struggling to give you a name, to be honest. I think, do you know what? This is going to sound crazy. Hear me out. Hear me out. Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is someone that has got size and strength. She's got great physique. She looks after herself. All right, she struggles in the ring a little bit at times, but she's passable. She's not someone that people are like, oh, this girl needs to leave WWE. Like, she's not someone that people lay into every single week. She's not like Nia that people call Botchasaurus or anything. I just kind of think that Dana Brooke is someone that does need help. She's someone that does need a manager. She's someone that looks after herself and has got great physique. And I think with the right support and with the Hurt Business behind her, if she was serious and they really kind of put her on the straight narrow path, and she was booked seriously, she could be a problem. She could be a problem, and she doesn't even need to win clean. Perhaps she thinks she's winning clean. That would be good. Dana Brooke thinks that she's winning these matches clean, and she's like, celebrating, and MVP's celebrating with her. But what she doesn't realize is that actually Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin are like tripping the girls over when they don't see, when she doesn't. So she's like celebrating, like, I can't believe it. And she just like thinks that she's winning. But what she doesn't realize is it's actually Cedric Alexander and whatever. You could only do that for a short time because surely she's going to watch her matches back at some point. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe have it so that MVP is like, I don't want you to watch your matches back. Have him say it and explain it, because detail is important. So have MVP say, I don't want you to watch your matches back, right? Part of the problem is you are overthinking. You are over-analyzing. You've got to just start trusting in yourself. And one of the ways to do that is to not watch your matches back. Do not watch them back, because you will pick up on every little thing that you do wrong. There is so much that you are doing right, and we will bring more out of you. But you've got to trust me. Don't watch your matches back, or something along those lines. I know it's going to be hard because the internet's going to be pointing out that, I suppose in a way, you'd have to suspend disbelief a little there, or maybe just run the story for a couple of weeks. But I do like the idea, though, of her going into the Hurt business, so that would be my suggestion. Right, again, I'm doing absolutely rubbish with updating the names on screen. So over on AEW, we got Jake Hager taking on Brandon Cutler. And over on NXT, I've got to say, there's a lot of matches that just don't really matter here. There's a lot of things that are just like, man, I know we're talking about lots of different stuff, but it's because what we're getting on both shows just doesn't really matter. I forgot this woman's name. Io Shirai is facing, I did write it down, Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark. There we go. Right, Hager and Cutler on the outside for AEW. NXT has gone to commercial break. And we are rumbling along. Warsaw Till I Die, shout out to you, sir. Jerry Jacks says, bring back Linda Miles, put her in the Hurt business. Evan says, Taya is going to attack EO. Henry, shout out to you. David Connolly says, this is not ending clean on NXT. Well, let's watch and see which way we go with this match. I hope you're right. I don't want people to think I'm down on this match. I know I said, like, doesn't really matter if you watch it or whatever. I do actually like Zoe Stark. From what I've seen of her, I think they booked her to look quite strong. We saw her, was it last week? And she looked quite good in her match. She was in a tag team match as well as part of the Women's Dusty Classic. She looked all right in that. AEW, I have to say, I think part of their problem is the fact that every match someone has to come down. There has to be something that happens after every match. And it's just so rinse and repeat. Like, we saw a big brawl with Sting and Darby and Brian Cage and all of that. And now, at the end of this Jake Hager-Brandon Cutler match, there's a big brawl where loads of people have come down. And it's just like, I feel like I'm seeing what I just saw. Young Bucks have come down. So, Young Bucks in the ring. We got MJF and Jericho. So Brandon Cutler is down. They've chased off Jake Hager. We're awaiting the arrival of MJF and Jericho. Normally, this means they won't be coming out. And actually, they won't be coming out. They're on the big screen. Taya in the Hurt Business. I don't know enough about her, to be honest. Former champion, good size, like, looks after herself. I know she's got, like, you know, good physique and whatever. Looks like Papa Buck has had an accident with some ketchup. His selling is pretty awful there, isn't it? Papa Buck getting thrown into the side of and he proper slides down as well, like in a cartoon. And there we go, Papa Buck getting thrown into the side of that van. Again, he loves it. Look at them. Look at that shirt that he's wearing. Wild. So MJF and Jericho saying you better come back and pick up this trash, and they run away. Young Bucks race to the back to get to their dad. And Jericho and MJF have managed to get to a car, and they drive away. Back to NXT. Back to NXT. We have got Zoe Stark in there, putting on a really good match with Io. As I said, I do like this woman. I think she's a good addition. She maybe needs a little bit more character development, but I do like her. It's going up top. Oh, rolls through. No one home. Crossbody. Zoe Stark goes down. So Io Shirai is down. Zoe Stark is down over on AEW. The Young Bucks had their father... Well, they didn't have their father beaten up, but he was beaten up. And MJF and Jericho sped away. Papa Buck better get an Oscar for best acting, says Big Boy Dally. Start with lovely suplex to Io. Quite a competitive match, this. Io shoulder up. Yeah, Stark doing some good work. Doesn't that mean that we now have 2 dead bodies in AEW? Who else has been beaten up? We've got Papa Buck down. Oh, open palm strike by Io Shirai. Zoe Stark back in the corner. Shoulder tackle by Io. And again, Zoe Stark goes down. Pick up. Face first goes Zoe Stark. Io Shirai backing over by the ropes. Looking for a 619. Io Shirai starting to get somewhere with this match now. Going up top. Shirai looking to fly a little bit off balance, but comes down. Missile drop kick. Zoe Stark goes down. That should be it to... No! Kick out by Zoe Stark. So this match continuing. I think this might be the best match we've seen so far tonight, to be honest. Again, the women once again showing what they're all about. Stark going over to the corner. Oh, another open palm strike. Strikes coming in by Io. Really good showcase this for Zoe Stark. Head scissor takedown. Double underhook by Io. Into a backbreaker. 1, 2. Oh, shoulder up. Shoulder up. Right, we are back on AEW. This NXT match is great. It is. It is. Very good. I think it's the best thing I've seen so far tonight. And no silliness. No outside interference or messing around or just two women. I mean, wrestling is so easy. I don't know why it ever gets so overcomplicated. Do you know what I mean? We had nothing but praise for NXT TakeOver, and that's because it was 5 matches, all with clean finishes that were awesome in the ring. Here, look, and we've got my favourite bit of tonight, 2 women just putting on a great showing, and it's the best thing I've seen so far in 50 minutes from either show. Shirai charging over, double knees to Zoe Stark. Shirai up top. Oh, moonsault. Doesn't get all of it. Might have got enough, though. And does and gets the win. Really good showing by both women. Good match. Io Shirai has won that match. Well done to Io Shirai, who beats Zoe Stark in a very, very entertaining match. I do think that Zoe Stark, I don't know what they're going to do with her character. I don't know if they're going to give her a little bit of a gimmick or what it is, but kind of feels like she's a little bit of a young lion at this stage. And here comes Toni Storm, who I do really rate as a heel. I think Toni Storm as a heel is brilliant. Toni Storm says, I'm no Zoe Stark. I'm Toni Storm. Last week I kicked your head off. And you didn't do a damn thing about it. There's a reason why you pinned Mercedes at TakeOver and not me. Because you can't beat me. And he was like, oh, whatever. I will fight you. Anytime. Any place. Anywhere. Tony's like, will you? If you thought you could beat me, surely by now you would have gone to Mr. Regal. You know it. I know it. Please prove me wrong. Go find Regal. Make the match. Well, there we go. Shirai and Toni. I'm down for that match. 1-on-1. That'll be awesome. The Way are about to leave. All you had to do was hit Lumis with the chair. So they're having a go at Austin. Austin says he's a misunderstood guy. Candice is like... He is not misunderstood. He is a psychopath. Candice is like, he should be in jail. Indy Hartwell says, actually, I think he's kind of hot. What is going on? Oh, Indy Hartwell is simping for Dexter Lumis. She's a simp. Indy Simpwell. That's what we've got. Indy Simpwell. Johnny says to Austin that he's going to go to therapy. So Austin is going to go to therapy, and Indy is simping after Dexter Lumis. See, I don't mind those little comedy bits right there. That's great. I just don't need it like during the match or whatever, but it's not a big problem. Next, we got Xia Li coming up. I'm really excited for that. Hangman Page making his way out on AEW. Hangman Page is taking on Isaiah Cassidy. Oh, hello. Little advert for UFC 259. We are sneaking our way towards that show. Xia Li versus Kacy Catanzaro. Next. Very excited for that. Very excited for that. Xia Li versus Kacy Catanzaro. Xia Li's new gimmick is good, says James. I agree, buddy. Really enjoy it. I've had therapy. It works for some. Xia Li's gimmick has saved her. WWE Fan 14, shout out to you. Jitin says the way is so good. That was fun. I like that. I like those little moments that they do backstage. I don't understand Austin Theory saying that he's misunderstood, considering Austin Theory got kidnapped and all of this kind of stuff. I don't know why now he would say he's just misunderstood. I don't know. Maybe Dexter Lumis said some stuff to him. I don't quite know. I don't know where they're going with it, but I'm certainly down for seeing where that story goes. Indy Hartwell saying, actually, I think he's kind of cute. I think that's fun as well. So that's good. That's all right. Over on AEW, we've got Hangman taking on Isaiah Cassidy. Of course, Matt Hardy on the outside of the ring. NXT is at commercial break, by the way, and we're almost at the halftime scores. Almost at the halftime scores. We'll do it when AEW next goes to commercial. Big boot by Hangman, and Isaiah goes out of the ring. Of course, we are building towards Hangman versus Matt Hardy. Crossbody by Hangman takes out Isaiah Cassidy. So Hangman doing well here. Is Big Show coming to AEW? He is. He's going to be a commentator, but it is believed that he will work some matches as well. There's going to be an announcement as to who his commentary partner is going to be. I haven't seen that that's been announced yet. Why don't people have unique names like Miz, Riddle, or Dream anymore? I think, well, they do still have wacky names, in all fairness. I think the names are still a little bit out there. I mean, you've got Karrion, Kross. I mean, I don't know. I suppose they haven't got any... Matt Riddle, I believe, is his name. So, it's only because they got rid of the Matt. So if you get rid of a load of, like, that would mean in NXT right now, we've got Lumis, we've got Grimes, we've got Hartwell. Do you know what I mean? Like, those names are still there. You just have to get rid of the first name. Right, Cameron Grimes is still walking around with this basketball. He's doing a challenge. Can you bounce this ball 10 times? And I'll give you $1,000. Like the $1 Million Man thing. Matt Hardy, I think, is being thrown away from ringside. Scowls24, shout out to you, buddy. We've got the Dark Order have come down. Right, 10 dribbles, $1,000. I mean, she looks like she can play ball. I don't know why he... Yeah, she's like properly bouncing it around. She did the 10 dribbles. He went to kick it. She put it in between her legs. He's having a go at Ted DiBiase now. He's like, that Ted DiBiase, you ain't smarter than Cameron Grimes. Oh, man, imagine if at TakeOver, I don't know, could the $1 Million Man have one more match? Could we get Cameron Grimes versus Ted DiBiase at a TakeOver? I mean, that would be sick. That would be awesome. $1 Million Man versus Cameron Grimes. That would be awesome. She probably was a former basketball player, yeah? I have no idea why he looked at her and went... He looked at the guy and he was like, yeah, not you. Because he looked like he could play a bit. And then he looked at her and he went, you little lady. And then when she stood up, she was up here. But to be honest, I looked at her, I was like, nah, she can definitely play ball. She just looks like athletic. She looks like she can play ball. Why didn't he just try and find some kids? I don't understand. $1 Million Man did it to some kids. Or he did it to a kid that he picked out of the crowd. We're still underway with this match on AEW. Yeah, I'd love it if the $1 Million Man came in. Paul Grimes, he's going to go bankrupt, says Nico Guy. Reynolds, Silver. Right, here's Tian Sha. I do like this story. I really do like this story. I would like it explained why she is just allowed to sit there. And there is Xia Li. The camera pans in on her, and when it pans out, they're both there. Now, there might be people out there that are saying that that's supernatural and we're meant to believe they just appear. To me, they just walk out. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know. To me, it's just part of the entrance and they just walk out. When the camera pans in and pans back, they've come in from the sides, but... Okay, so Xia Li doing her little exhibition. We've got Tian Sha graphics being shown. It's a bit strange considering this is Xia Li and that is Tian Sha. Right, Kacy is... Oh, Xia Li, no messing around. She charges at Kacy, misses her, pushes her back. Kacy round the back. This should be brutal. That's what this match needs to be. It needs to be brutal. We need to see that Xia Li has got no limits. Already Kacy's getting a fair bit of offense in. Xia catches Kacy, though, as she went into the corner. Hangs her over the top rope. I want Xia Li to be brutal here. I want her to hurt her and keep hurting her. This is the kind of match that really needs blood, to be honest. Could you imagine if, like, she starts beating her up and Kacy gets busted? Maybe, like, throws a few forearm strikes. Kacy, there's, like, blood coming down and everything. I don't know that they would go that far, but I really think that you need to get across that this is a very different Xia Li. This is a Xia Li that was, like, fighting for her life. I mean, she is deathly scared of Tian Sha, so you've got to really get across that she is not just out to win matches. We're still underway with Hangman Page against Isaiah Cassidy, by the way. Big strike by Hangman. Hangman in control on that match, and Xia Li in control on NXT. She's got Kacy up. Kacy rolls through and kick out by Xia. Nice spin kick to the midsection. And going for the cover. Kick out by Kacy. I do like Tianxia when she's sat in that chair. She's like constantly leaning forward like this. I do like that. Perhaps she's got bad eyesight. Oh, Isaiah Cassidy just jumped up, jumped straight onto the shoulders of Hangman. And he absolutely plants him. So Hangman's still in control over on AEW. Good little match over on AEW, actually. Credit where it's due. This is probably the best match I've seen from them so far tonight. Certainly every time I look over, the action is very good. Kacy's getting far too much offense in here. They're giving far too much to Kacy. Kacy charging over, collides into Xia Li. This just shouldn't be this close. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Isaiah Cassidy. Yeah, I'm disappointed that NXT has booked it this way. Kacy, crossbody to the outside. Xia Li catches Kacy, reverses, throws her into the barricade and the fencing. She looks over at Tianxia. Kacy is down, and she seems to purposely have her leg on the ring steps. Xia Li stomps down on Kacy's leg. It's a nice little spot, but felt a bit unnatural for her to have her leg just there anyway. I don't know. She's selling it well, though. I like how she's selling it. She's like keeping her leg out straight. She's like screaming in pain. She's getting dragged by her hair now. This is better. This is better. So dragging Kacy into the middle of the ring. The female ref, we got the refs coming down. Called it ref stoppage. Ref stoppage! Yay! Ref stoppage. Xia Li by ref stoppage. I love ref stoppage. I'm a ref stoppage stan. If I could be a stan for anything, I'd be a stan for ref stoppages. If you beat your opponent so bad they can no longer continue. Ref stoppage. Oh, Caden getting right. Look, Boa standing in the way. Boa's like, don't do this. Don't do this. I wish he was like pleading with her a bit more. I wish he was a bit like, don't do this. Don't do this. Spin kick by Xia Li. Gets out the ring as Caden gets into the ring. Kacy is down. And Xia says, you are next. This is all right. I just think it could have more punch. I just think the punch could be a little bit harder here. I kind of think, like, Xia should have just got into the ring, destroyed Kacy, and then we still could have got that finish. I think Kacy got a bit too much offense in there. I think I would have liked Boa to have been a bit more don't. Like, really pleading with Caden, get away from Tianxia kind of a thing. But it just lacked a little. But it's all right. It's all right. Right. So Dakota and Raquel won the opportunity. So they should be getting a women's tag match soon. But Escobar hasn't arrived. Well, if he doesn't arrive, I think he will. If he doesn't arrive, he will be stripped of the title. He will lose the Cruiserweight Championship. Right, we are backstage. We're in a kind of cool-looking workspace. And here we go. Look, we got Don Callis with Kenny. And they're building another contraption for the exploding barbed wire death match. I like this, Kenny. There's a guy grinding in the background whilst Kenny is trying to cut a promo. Like, did they really need to be doing that at that exact moment? You got Kenny trying to cut a promo, the guy, and that's the moment the guy decides to go in the background. But in my head, if I was Kenny, I'd be like, "You absolute tool! You chose that moment. You couldn't sand. You couldn't just stand there and sand. You couldn't, like, move a few things around. You had to choose that moment to start grinding." I'd be furious if I was Kenny. Right, next week, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Yeah, a guy grinding in the background. Not even grinding in the William Hensey way. Up next, guys, Grizzled Young Veterans will be facing Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. That match brought to you by Burger King. Right, getting your halftime scores. Halftime scores, they are obviously well past the halftime, but this is, both shows are at commercial break right now. Get in your halftime scores. Daze, do you think we'll eventually see Wade Barrett in the ring? I hope so. I do hope so. I think he's got some more matches in him. And I hope they do it. I'd love to see him compete on NXT UK, though. I think NXT UK could really do with that bump. I kind of think like it's every time I watch it, like there's always something that I enjoy from NXT UK. It's just the lost lamb, isn't it? It's the forgotten son of WWE. Austin says NXT 6.5, AEW 6. Lister Jericho says 6.5. LSW says 7.75 for NXT. High Flyer says 7. 7.5 says Nico Guy. Anna Dawes says NXT 6.5. Big Boy Dally says 6 for both. Joe Fam says 8 for NXT. Colin says, why do you like this Xia Li character, but not the Fiend? Aren't they the same? How are they the same? How are they even in the same stratosphere? I mean, so far I've seen nothing supernatural from Xia Li. Nothing at all. I did say during the entrance there'll be people out there that I'm sure will say that she just appears. And this is what I'm saying. This is the grey area, though, that WWE largely have operated in. That kind of... There's people out there that believe that Xia Li just magically appears, whereas I just think she walks in from the side. There's been nothing in her matches that's been supernatural. I mean, there's nothing. The only thing that you could say is that we did get a little animated thing that told us the backstory for Tian Sha, and she turned out to be like this 2,000-year-old, folklore, if you will, Chinese folklore. But as we said, there's nothing to suggest that the woman in that chair is the exact same woman from that folklore. It could just be that she's taken inspiration from that story. It could be anything. There is nothing that I have seen that has offended me in this story. The only thing I would say is I would like it explained why they were showing Boa and Xia being tortured on NXT. Like, how did they get the footage? Why were they showing the footage? Like, why didn't they go to the police? So I think detail. I'm someone that loves, realism and things like that. And I can vibe with this story. But even I will be the first to admit that it's not totally perfect. Even I will be the first to admit there are things about it that, but they're not supernatural things. They're things that I just would have liked explaining. You can explain them. You can explain them. You could say that we were given this footage by Xia Li herself, who will be returning soon, but she asks that we show you where she's been. So be warned, this is graphic footage, but also be advised that this has been requested that we show you this by Xia Li herself. So you can something like that. I mean, easy, explained, done, lovely, thank you. That's why we're not calling the police, because we know that she's safe and she's asking us to show you this footage. So why would they call the police? So it can be easily explained. It's just they haven't bothered doing it. And dude, that's my biggest frustration with wrestling in general, to be honest, is, you get all these kidnappings and stuff like that, which, you do think, why don't you just call the police sometimes? But I think with wrestling, there has to be a degree of suspending disbelief. It's always been that way. But I think trying to compare The Fiend with Xia Li is, it's just absolutely, they're miles apart. Miles apart. NXT 6.5. Big Boy Daddy, 6 for both. JoeFam827 says 8 for NXT. Cole Irwin says NXT 7, AEW 4. Advert for WWE Shop. We've got Cameron Grimes walking around backstage. We've got Britt Baker making her way out on AEW. So we are well into this second hour. Nearly 20 minutes in. He's found another person that is going to try and do this. Here we go. This is the third time now. You mean... Yes, like the Ted DiBiase thing. It's not difficult. Okay. One. And he just punches him in the face. There we go. He says, bounce the ball 10 times. The guy went, all right then. But, I mean, he's just thrown the money on the floor. So the guy's got, when the guy comes around, he's got all the money there. I don't think Cameron Grimes really gets how this works. You're meant to, offer people money, but never actually give it them. And instead, he's, just thrown the money around and walks away. Drake Maverick had a Killian Dane t-shirt on. So, Drake Maverick, Killian Dane making their way down to the ring. Kiss my grits! Right, Maverick and Dane versus the Grizzles. Young veterans. Britt Baker losing her mind here. So Britt Baker, frustrated, went out, started chucking stuff around, gets back into the ring. So Britt Baker, Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose has got Britt on her shoulders. Samoan drop by Nyla. I think the women's matches are amongst the best matches. That Hangman Matt Hardy match was decent. We have been more focused on NXT tonight. There's no denying that. But I am intrigued in this. I really do like this women's tournament. Hopefully they give this match a little bit of time. We got just over 30, about 39 minutes, nearly 40 minutes left. We got Reba outside the ring. She pulls Britt Baker out of the way as Nyla Rose was about to charge in with a big boot. Britt Baker going up top. Big slap by Nyla. She's got Britt Baker on her shoulders. Oh. Threw her in the air. Just lets her land hard on the mat. Kick to the midsection. Britt Baker rolls to the outside. So Britt Baker is not doing so well here in this match. Struggling against the size and the power of Nyla. But she pulls Nyla into the ring post. We're underway with Maverick and Killian Dane against the Grizzled Young Veterans on NXT. What is better, AEW or NXT? I think they both have good moments and bad moments. I think there's things to enjoy with both and criticize with both. So I think they're very comparable. I think that AEW has got more star power. I think they can do comedy arguably better, but I do think that NXT is actually improving with its comedy. I think that Cameron Grimes and this kind of him doing the $1 Million Man thing was good. I think The Way have been quite fun, backstage in particular. So I do think they're improving with comedy NXT. And you could argue they're improving a little bit with their star power by bringing in the likes of Taya Valkyrie. Obviously, they've brought in Eli Drake as well. It's not kind of crazy star power. It's not like, AEW brings in Big Show. They haven't really got any legends like that. So maybe that's where they're still falling behind. But I kind of feel like NXT feels a bit more like a wrestling show. Whereas AEW can be, I don't know, man. AEW, you tend to get a match and then you'll always get like someone come down after the match. Like, they tend to hotshot quite a few things. So that would be my criticism with AEW. Just wish there was just more straight, clean finishes in AEW. I wish there was less people at ringside. I wish that they just had great matches, like one-on-one matches. So I think there's strengths and weaknesses on both. And I think you'll find fans for both in our community. I honestly the way I watch the shows is I do try to keep an eye on both, but I will watch what segments I think are the better segments. So right now, I think Britt Baker is a great talent. So I think her against Nyla in this tournament, in a match that matters, that's got my attention more than what Grizzled Young Veterans versus Drake Maverick, Killian Dane would have, The Tian Sha story, I really like that. So I would probably watch that over Hangman against Isaiah Cassidy. So the way I enjoy Wednesday nights is by watching what I feel is the better segment, and I just watch it segment by segment. I think that's a good way of enjoying Wednesday nights. There's other people that will watch all of AEW and then watch all of NXT after, or will watch NXT and then all of AEW after. So there's people that won't watch either. There's people that will just watch highlights. So there's different ways of enjoying Wednesdays, but I think I like to do it segment by segment. She ripped off the turnbuckle. She did rip off the turnbuckle. What a naughty woman she is. We are at commercial break for both. Can't wait to see what's going to happen tonight with Undisputed Era, says Brony. Was Wesley of MSK has a broken hand. I think they're going to be out of the title match next week. Oh, it's interesting. Shout out to you, Lauren. Nice suplex into the corner goes Nyla Rose. So good suplex there by Britt Baker. Can Big Show really do too much more in the ring? I think Big Show could have some matches. I think he could have the occasional appearance. I think he's great to have around because I think he's a name. I think he's got some name recognition. I don't think he moves the ratings all that much, to be honest. I don't think he should be a regular competitor. I think having him as a commentator is probably a really good way to use him. But is he someone great to add to a casino battle royal? Is he someone great to have as a mystery tag partner? Is he someone great to have for answering an open challenge? Like, there's definitely ways that you can use Big Show. So I think it's a really good signing. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much they're paying him, but it must work for them, and it must work for him. Reba jumps up on the edge of the ring. She goes to hit Nyla Rose, but gets planted. So Reba is down. Neckbreaker to Britt Baker. And kick out by Britt Baker. So Reba is down. Britt Baker is down. Nyla Rose in control. We are back from commercial breaks. Young Rock. I remember you losing TV. No, picture's fine. I remember Matthew Nunes talking trash about a huge fight on Dave's stream. I timed him out. Wonder if he is showing. Cameron Grimes and the way have been pretty enjoyable, says Jason. I agree. Alex says, apparently there's a picture going around showing John Cena in an advert over the AEW board. Don't understand. What, there's a picture of John Cena being all elite? I can't see John Cena becoming all elite. Vince will move mountains to prevent that from happening. Good work so far by Britt. She's going for her lockjaw. She's trying to get it applied. She's trying to get it on. Nyla is trying to prevent it, though. She's trying to get up to her knees. Oh, plants Britt Baker. 1, 2. Kick out by Britt Baker. So, Britt Baker down. Nyla Rose. She tries to get the turnbuckle. The ref's taking it off of her. Inside cradle. Just, no. 2 count for Britt Baker. Nice kick by Britt Baker. Backs over to the corner. And another one as well. Nyla Rose. Over by the corner. Baker going over again. Looking for a crucifix pin. Gets it. 1, 2. Oh, only just. But she should be able to transition to the lockjaw. She's got it in position. Here we go. She's trying. She's trying. She's almost got it. Why couldn't she get her hand in her mouth? Right, Britt Baker over by the ropes. Nyla Rose managed to power out of it. Big strike, big right hand. Britt Baker goes down. This could be the beginning of the end for Britt Baker. She's trying to get Baker up. She's got Baker up. Oh, plants her down. JR says that is heavy duty right there. But Britt Baker kicks out. This is a good little match. I like the women, man. The women are so good. I'm really enjoying this match between Britt Baker and Nyla Rose. And honestly, that Zoe Stark Io Shirai match was good earlier as well. In fact, on AEW, we've got a "This is awesome" chant. I can't say I agree that we're quite at that level, but it's very good. Grizzled young veterans celebrate him. So I believe they're victorious as Killian Dane picks up Drake Maverick. Oh, another sit-down powerbomb by Nyla Rose. And that does it. So there we go. Nyla Rose victorious against Britt Baker. Britt Baker is eliminated from this women's tournament. Little bit of an upset, maybe. Right. Looks like we do now have the arrival of Santos Escobar. Jonathan says, let's go Baker. Fell short, unfortunately. Shirai versus Storm in 2 weeks. Thanks, Burger King, for the announcement. Thank you, Burger King. That is a whopper of an announcement, guys. Right, we are at commercial break. Over on... oh, I didn't see that news. Yaka... I didn't see. So, Thunder Rosa versus Rio. Winner of that will face Nyla Rose. So that is the American side. Yaka Sakazaki versus Raiho Mizunami. That is our other semi-final. So there we go. One of them Japanese ladies will go forward to face either Thunder Rosa, Riho, or Nyla Rose. I'm not sure. I would have said that would have been the final 5. I'm quite surprised by how that has played out, to be honest. Right, we are at commercial break for NXT. We got a little promo here by Jurassic Express. I like that. They're saying, on your best day, all 3 of you can't hold a candle to Tully Blanchard. Luchasaurus says, I know he's one of the best wrestlers of all time, but how long has it been since he was in the ring? So Tully is coming out of retirement. It will be Tully and FTR versus Lucha Express. I don't know that the build has been brilliant for that match, but I'm certainly looking forward to that match. Next week, FTR and Tully Blanchard versus Jurassic Express. AEW Dynamite, the Crossroads, they're calling it. AEW Dynamite, the Crossroads. Jericho and MJF are going to make a Revolution press conference next week. Also next week, it's going to be Paul White, Big Show, and Tony Schiavone is the person that's going to be partnering him. So it wasn't that big of an announcement. But that premieres on March 15th. March 15th, AEW Drk Elevation. Also next week, Shaq and Jade taking on Cody and Red Velvet. Dark Order taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hybrid 2. Dark Order's 10 taking on Max Caster. So next week's looking like a big, big deal. At Revolution, Hikaru Shida defends the women's title, but against who? Matt Hardy, big money Matt Hardy. So we're just seeing what's booked for Revolution right now. Casino Tag Team Royale. Little advert for NXT UK, yep. Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Young Bucks versus Jericho and MJF. Kenny and Moxley. Man, these announcements taking like 20 years. Ray Fenix versus Lance Archer coming up next. That's a lot of information right there, isn't it? A lot of information. Right, is this our main event for NXT? Because we got Karrion Kross making his way down. And actually, Karrion Kross is outside. We thought he was going to make his entrance, but he's actually attacking the vehicle that we believe... Is that Santos? There's Santos. Oh, so this is no DQ. They're fighting outside, so we are underway. It's kind of cool. Boom, out of nowhere, just starts attacking them outside. Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar. Kross is sexy, says Austin. Yep, Kross and Escobar fighting outside of the Capital Wrestling Center. Santos Escobar closing the back of that truck onto Karrion Kross. I can't imagine that hurts all that much. But kick coming in. Big strikes. Isn't that the generator that Retribution destroyed in the background? Some big cat yellow generator thing? I'm sure it was. Forearm strike by Karrion. They're all over this truck. Escobar has got inside. He's locked the door. Karrion rips off the wing mirror, throws it at the door. Takes a pickaxe. It's pretty serious, isn't it? Starts just smash the glass. He's literally destroying the door. Just throwing the pickaxe into the side of the door. Right. Wilder's come in. Gets thrown onto the bonnet of that truck. Mendoza gets thrown into the truck as well. Trash can from Escobar. I think they said this match has got to finish in the ring, so... But there's nothing... is there anything stopping a ref stoppage? I don't think so. If he can't continue, surely you've got to have ref stoppage, so... Even though they've said it's got to finish in the ring, I can't see why it would have to. There's obviously no count out. There's no DQ. Face first into the side of the truck goes Kross. Face first into the door. We've got Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, Santos Escobar. We've got all of Legado del Fantasma working together here. They drive Karrion Kross into the side of that truck. I'm not sure what our main event for AEW is, to be honest. Is it the Lance Archer match? Lance Archer versus Ray Fenix is our main event. Wasn't expecting that. Versus Ray Fenix. I forgot all about Adam Cole. Yeah, we didn't get any announcement, did we? Is that the main event? Is Adam Cole coming out going to be the main event? Right there, dragging him inside. Big strikes raining down. So Karrion Kross getting attacked and beaten up by all three guys here. So Legado del Fantasma. Smile on the face of Santos Escobar as he walks away. But Karrion Kross has started to fight back. Kross. Oh, that's a good spot. That's a great spot. Karrion Kross. That's a great spot. That looks really cool. And there is Scarlett in the background, loving it as well. That was great. He just hurled them both through the plexiglass. Plexiglass broke, and honestly, he looked like a killer then. Karrion Kross looked like an absolute killer. That was great. That was a great, great spot. That might be my favorite moment from either show tonight. That bit where he throws them through and he's standing there. He had a bit of a Brock vibe. It was just... And then when it cut back to Santos, you got Scarlett like, my precious. She was loving it. Right, they're trying to fight back here. There's a chair being used by Santos Escobar. But that was a great moment. There's Scarlett again, walking round. Santos is dead now, says Austin. Heel versus heel. Well, Karrion's quite interesting in the... I think people see him as a bit of a tweener. He's not kind of a heel. Outright heel. He's done heelish stuff. But I think they're trying to position him as, like, cool. I mean, Santos definitely is a heel. There's nothing about Santos Escobar that's not a heel. But I think Karrion, they're trying to position him as a tweener, as a cool kind of killer. Right, so we are underway with Fenix and Lance Archer. I do find that strange as a main event, and maybe it isn't. Maybe they've got something there they've got planned for after this match. But over on NXT, we've got Karrion Kross against Santos Escobar. Bit of a street fight. It's good. Really enjoyable. We need Kross in a fight pit, says Big Boy Dally. Omeron said, Days, I just saw some videos of exploding barbed wire death matches, and I'm scared. Mr. Clark says, where's Ciampa? I do expect another Ciampa Kross feud soon. Wow, last time we saw him, wasn't he a partner in Thatcher? And they got eliminated from the Dusty Classic. I don't know that I've seen him after that. Jake the Snake at ringside. Fenix climbing up. Jake the Snake looks like he's going to get involved. And he does. He grabs the leg of Rey Fenix. Pulls him off that top rope. So Jake the Snake getting himself involved in this contest. Fenix jumps over Jake. Comes crashing down onto Lance Archer. Kross is a tweener, says Butterspark. Days, have you heard that WWE have signed Millie McKenzie, Adam, and Davey Boy Smith Jr.? I heard about the others. I've not heard that Davey Boy Smith Jr. has been announced, has he? That would be news to me. If they've announced it, that's news to me. Kross should be a tweener, sort of like Balor. I find him very interesting. I'm guessing after this Escobar feud, he'll go back to being a heel, says Brony. All Elite Scooby-Doo. State Farm. It's such a shame I don't get those adverts. Layla Hirsch in the crowd. Obviously, we've got Billy Gunn and a few other people in the crowd. Leva Bates. Right, we are back on NXT. Basement dropkick by Santos Escobar, who's managed to get the momentum again. There's Scarlett. She's a little concerned. She's got a little bit of a Luna Vachon vibe, hasn't she, Scarlett? Just a little bit of a Luna Vachon vibe. Like, if she had her head shaved and the tattoos, like the way she acts, I get a little bit of a Luna Vachon vibe. Into the ring post. Where the chair goes, Karrion, he screams out at Santos Escobar. I have been really impressed with Karrion Kross. I wasn't that impressed at first. His matches were quite short. I felt that Scarlett overshadowed him. I feel like now he's getting longer matches. He's getting stuff to actually get his teeth into. Certainly his promos. Very impressed. I'm very impressed with Karrion. Oof. Face first DDT into a steel chair. And the smile has returned to Santos Escobar. Into the ring post goes Rey Fenix. Lance Archer in control on AEW. We've still got 14 minutes to go, so it's a bit strange. It feels like we're down to the final few minutes. We're not. We've still got an ad break and a whole segment left, so... It's the way she acts, man. The way she, like, leans down and she does this on the edge of the ring. It really reminds me of Luna. Forearm strike by Kross. Kross and Santos have both done really well tonight. Kross's arm is broken. Don't think so. Unless you're ahead of me. Kross is down. I think we're going to commercial break. There was a suicide dive there. And Escobar is standing on the arm of Kross, stomping away. I sort of feel like Legado del Fantasma should win this. I mean, it is 3-on-1. I understand that Karrion Kross is a killer. I completely understand that. But, yeah, I do think that it would be better for Legado del Fantasma to get the win here. Karrion Kross has proven that he would win 1-on-1 against any of these. Maybe even 2-on-1 he would win against any of these. But to win 3-on-1, I don't know. Escobar in control against Karrion. Rey Fenix is chopping away on Lance Archer. He's not even feeling those shots. Kross. Oh, double knees. Nice suplex. Yeah, he was going for 3 amigos. Gets blocked by Karrion. Karrion picks up, throws Santos Escobar. Big strike as well. So Karrion Kross very much in control right now. Again, another belly to belly. Belly to belly to Santos. Santos rolls out of the ring. He rolled over to where Scarlett was, and I did wonder if she might get involved, but she hasn't. Santos drives Karrion into the corner. And he's going to look to drive Karrion into that ring post, but Karrion reverses. Smashes Santos into the ring steps. Big boot. Mendoza goes down. Karrion Kross has got a chair. Santos Escobar is on top of the ring steps. He moves out of the way. I think Whacking Wild made the save, actually. So, Karrion Kross very much in control. You wanted the Cruiserweight champion on the main event. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind this as the main event. This feels like a main event on NXT. The Lance Archer Rey Fenix one feels a strange main event. I don't mind this one as a main event. I mean, they're fighting outside. They're fighting at ringside. It's obviously a non-title match. But yeah, I don't mind this as a main event. This feels like a main event on NXT. I did just wonder, though, if there might still be some after, because I haven't heard from Adam Cole. I don't know if I missed it, but it could be that Adam Cole is going to speak after. Because we have still got like 9 minutes to go. And it's hard to know, like, I mean, they are doing everything to each other at the moment. I mean, suplex on the announce table. The announce table gets destroyed. Scarlett is like, just like, she's off in her own world, isn't she? NXT chants. Karrion Kross very much in control. Ugh, plants down Escobar. Adam Cole didn't talk. Mamma mia! Kross in the corner, charges over. Straight to the back of the head. 1, 2, 3. Karrion Kross wins. I don't mind it. I don't mind that he's won. I think it makes him look like a killer. I mean, he's just had to beat all of Legado del Fantasma, but the only thing I would say is it's not great for them, is it? 3 of them can't beat Karrion Kross. No DQ. They were using chairs. They were using anything they could get their hands on. So it's just not great for them. Scarlett comes in. I like the fact she looks concerned. I like the fact she's jumped in and she's like grabbing a hold of him and she's looking concerned for him. I like the fact they're really selling what he's just been through. It's not as if she's now dancing away and all this. Like, she's gone over and she's like, she looks really concerned for what's just happened. So I really like that. It was a good match as well. They did so much to each other. Some really great spots in it. Hard hitting. Really good. Really good. I must say, I've largely enjoyed NXT tonight. I think NXT tonight has been a really good show. I think NXT has been really, really good. And I think AEW has been a bit so-so. I think NXT has been a much stronger show for me. Adam Cole is making his way down to the ring. So we did wonder if he might close out the show, and he is going to close out the show. Fall and pray, says Kyle. Sometimes you need to sacrifice credibility to make credibility, says Random Nerd. Kross is sexy. Adam Cole, baby! Sonny Wolf says, all hail Scarlett and Kross. Mr. Clock says, I still personally think Kross's best match was against Ciampa. He felt like a legitimate beast. David Conley says, I thought that was for the title. No, non-title, no DQ. Okay, so NXT has gone to commercial break. We've only got 6 minutes left, but I'm guessing there is going to be the overrun. So let's change this over to Adam Cole. Of course, AEW should finish in a few minutes' time. Okay, Lance Archer in control against Rey Fenix. This has had, this match has been quite long, actually. I was just watching there as Lance Archer throws a back elbow to Rey Fenix. Fenix going over to the corner, up top, across the ropes. And a big kick by Rey Fenix. Lance Archer goes down. Obviously, quite a big segment coming up on NXT. We're going to hear from Adam Cole why. Adam Cole actually said that he's going to say more than just why. So you are going to find out a little bit more than just why tonight. I know a lot of people might be thinking he's just going to say that he wants the title and all of this, but I am expecting a little bit more than that. So let's see what Adam Cole's got to say. It's going to be a big, big segment. Lovely cutter by Fenix, and he's going for the pin on Lance Archer. Archer gets a kick out. So big final segment coming up on NXT. Fenix getting hurled into the corner. Lance Archer charging after. Big forearm strike to Fenix. He's got him up in the corner, looking to pick him up. He has got him up. Oh, it's kind of like a package suplex. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Rey Fenix. Let's try and jump into the chat. Archer has not defeated Fenix till now. Maybe because undisputed WWE champions, now they just look out for the champion. Hopefully he was a little worried the way he was holding his bicep. Archer is a monster, says Kyle. Both guys up top, just hearing from Eli Drake, or LA Knight as he's now known. Archer, Fenix, both up top. Spanish fly, wow! Spanish fly to Lance Archer. 1, 2, wow. JR says, what the hell are we seeing? Fenix delivering a Spanish fly. Wow, that's a proper OMG moment. That's really cool. Big chops and strikes coming in by Fenix. Both guys going against the ropes, and Archer with the shoulder tackle. Next week, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Kind of feel like this might be the beginning of the end now to this match. Archer in control, picks up Fenix, hurls him into the corner, looking for a choke slam, picks him up, slams him down. 1, 2. Oh, no, shoulder up. Look at the spittle. Lance Archer. All this spittle coming down. Adam Cole, baby. Right, still coming out to the same music. Still wearing Undisputed Era merch. Still got Undisputed Era logos. Archer has managed to pick up the win over on AEW. So Archer wins on AEW. Adam Cole making his way down to the ring. Lots of boos. Archer staring down the camera. How is this NXT segment about to go? Why is he coming out to this? Well, perhaps he feels that he is Undisputed Era. Perhaps he feels that Kyle is no longer a part of it. Perhaps he feels that Kyle no longer represents Undisputed Era. And just showing a replay, look, and Adam Cole. Adam Cole not struggling to watch, actually. They're showing it, and he keeps kind of turning away. So Lance Archer wins the match, and AEW fades to black. So we are done for AEW this week. Let's see what Adam Cole Baby has got to say. Right, big segment now. AEW is finished. Here's Adam. Adam Cole. Quiet, everyone. I had every intention of explaining why I did what I did. He doesn't care. After watching that footage, I feel sick to my stomach. Everyone knows the NXT Championship. Oh, I don't like the guy I've become. He was upset that Kyle got opportunity after opportunity. But that doesn't excuse my actions. It's interesting. After watching that, I am ashamed. This is a trap. This has got trap written all over it. I wish we could be having this conversation face to face. Boos are being piped in. And we can't because of me. This is going to be heartfelt. But I don't buy it. He's saying, I was dead wrong. You know me better than anyone else. I made a stupid mistake. So he's saying he's regretful. He's saying, Kyle, you know the real me. I made a stupid mistake. Twice on 2 different weeks. On 2 different shows. I made a stupid mistake twice. We've all made stupid mistakes twice. 1 week after the other. I'm going to do everything in my power to fix this. I'm so sorry. Here's Roderick. Roderick's like, now you feel bad. So Roderick's having a go at Adam here. Oh, this must be hard for John. Roderick having a go at Adam Cole. Everything's changed now. This was built on trust, a brotherhood. All right promo from Roderick Strong, who I've heard in the past. He doesn't get much promo time, but I've heard wasn't brilliant. When Kyle heals. I don't know if I can save you from what he's going to do to you. Here's Balor as well. Right, Balor making his way down. Balor just pushes Roderick Strong out the way. Goes after Adam Cole. Balor and Cole. Balor and Cole. Roderick Strong gets in. He pulls Balor off of Adam Cole. They both go through the ropes. Kick to the midsection by Balor. No words from Balor. Adam Cole pushes Balor into the barricade. Super kick. Balor goes down. Roderick Strong gets into the ring. Adam Cole gets in. Oh, clothesline. Roderick Strong, clothesline. To Adam Cole. It's hard to know where Roderick Strong's going to fall in this story. Whose side's he going to take? Adam Cole says, I'm sorry, Roddy. I want things to go back to normal. Adam Cole says, this is my fault. Adam Cole's getting upset. Roderick Strong's come over. You're my brother. Okay, so Roderick Strong and Adam Cole embrace. Adam Cole keeps saying he's sorry. Is someone going to turn on someone here, or you feel like something's coming? Oh, low blow from Adam Cole. Oh, low blow from Adam Cole. You are so stupid. Roddy, you're dead to me. He rips off the Undisputed Era. Dog tag. Well, what's really interesting is I thought we might be building to Kyle and Bobby versus Adam Cole and Roderick, and doesn't look that way. If we are going to get there, we're certainly going an interesting route. I can tell you that much. So Adam Cole stands over Roderick Strong. John, no! Low blow, no! This is so cool. Can someone just think about all the Undisputed Era stands out there? All the Undisputed Era stands that for a split second were like, oh, there's hope. There's hope. No! And the hope went again. This is so cruel to the Undisputed Era stands. So cruel. There's hope, guys. Adam Cole, he says he's sorry. It's going to be all right, look. It's going to be... Oh, he's turned on him. They're all dead. Oh, heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. I wonder how John is feeling. It's going to, honestly, it's pushing him to the edge, man. It is pushing him to the edge. Sunnywell says Taylor Swift, they are never, ever, ever getting back together. They are never, ever, ever getting back together. 10 out of 10 lols. That's what it is. Creed, shut up, Days. Austin says the Undisputed Era fans deserved this. NXT 9 out of 10. I tell you, NXT was enjoyable tonight. There was bits about it that I, did pick apart, but there was definitely bits that I praised as well and I was into. Thought Karrion Kross match was great. I think that ending was a lot of fun. The Xia Li match. A few things that I criticised in it, but overall it was good. The Zoe Stark Io Shirai match was one of my favourite matches of tonight. I thought the way comedy stuff backstage was good. I thought what Cameron Grimes was doing was a good way to use him. Balor coming down at the end was cool. It was a good show, NXT have given us a good show tonight. Good show tonight. AEW, I think what they're doing is building towards a good show, big show for next week. So I feel like the AEW show this week didn't do it for me, if I'm being honest. I think this is one of the widest weeks that I've seen in quite a while. Normally, I sit here and I'm like, oh, I just can't. It's so close. They had that match, but they had that match. And they did this, but they did that. Not this week. 100% NXT was the better show. 100%. Brony, NXT 8.25. 9.75. Raphael says, I think both were 8s. Shaquem says AEW 6.5, NXT 7. NXT 8, AEW 7. Messi says NXT 8.75, AEW 3.5. William says, I give it a 9.8. Jennifer says, but seriously, where is Bobby Fish? Brony says NXT 8.25. Going Ghost says NXT 8.25, AEW 5.95. Austin says NXT 8, AEW 7. Scott Turner says NXT 8. Brian says AEW 6, NXT 775. Yeah, I mean, if you are an AEW fan, all I would say is I really think they're building up for their next couple of weeks. I think what tonight was just laying the foundation work, really. I think next week, the Crossroads looks like it's going to be a big deal. And there's no denying, I mean, look, AEW are going to win the ratings. They got the biggest buzz from the big show news today. Everyone was talking about AEW. They've put on a show that was all right. It was all right. I think it was watchable, and I think if you was an AEW fan, you will have enjoyed it. But yeah, I do think the quality, the better show was NXT. So as a result, I'm gonna say there was nothing that would make me go to an 8. I don't think for NXT. Feel like a 7.75 is fair. Could go to an 8. I could go to an 8, but I'm not sure there was anything really there that would convince me. There was quite a few bits I'd want to tweak and change, but I think something like that for AEW. I think there's a real gap here. I think the gap is, I think 1.5 is very fair in the gap. I think this is one of those weeks that I think there's a very obvious gap. So yeah, I'm not doing it to be harsh to AEW. As I said, I always like to call it as I see it. And some weeks I sit here and say, they're about the same. They're about the same. But this week, I really do feel like there was a significant gap between the two shows. So, in a way, it's well done to both. It's well done to AEW. They're definitely winning the ratings. They had the bigger talking point today. And getting more ratings and having the bigger talking point is probably amongst the most important stuff. But well done to NXT. You're not going to win the ratings. You're not going to have the buzz on social media. But I do think you put on the better show. So everyone wins. Everyone gets a participation award. Well done. Well done, everyone. AEW sucked. How is it as close as that? Because I thought that they still put on some fairly solid matches. I thought Lance Archer against Fenix was pretty solid. I think that there was some fine stuff on the show. I don't think that this was a great episode of Dynamite, but there wasn't equally anything that necessarily offended me. I just thought that it was watchable, it's passable. But I'm not like completely hating on Dynamite. I'm not like disgusted with what they gave us this week. Hangman's match, for example, against Isaiah Cassidy was fine. I had a lot of praise for Nyla Rose against Britt Baker. I thought Nyla Rose Britt Baker was a decent match. Hangman against Isaiah Cassidy was fine. Lance Archer against Fenix was fine. I mean, there was a lot of just like, yeah, it's all right, it's fine. But it's just, there was nothing that got the pulse racing. There was nothing that really excited me. There was nothing that was to the standard of what I see from Dynamite. But equally, nothing that offended me. So I feel like those scores are very fair. Robin says, Days, will we see the $1 Million Man on NXT? I hope so. I would love to see the $1 Million Man on NXT. I think he's still got a good relationship with WWE because, of course, we did see him the other year on, was it the Raw reunion? And he became the 24/7 champion. He bought the belt from Medusa, Alundra Blaze. So we have seen him on, I think that was the last time we saw him. And yeah, that would be cool. I'm not sure that he will have a match. I don't know if he looks after himself in that way anymore. But yeah, that would be good to bring him in and have him do something with Cameron Grimes. Days, it's puzzling to me that you gave AEW a lower score than Raw. I'm not an AEW fan, In fact, I find it very hilarious. You find AEW hilarious. I think Raw was a better show this week, to be honest. If someone, I never really thought about it that way, but if someone said, what did you prefer, Raw or AEW? I actually had quite a bit of praise for Raw this week. I said Raw this week was a better show. I felt that it had a lot more story to it. I really enjoyed the emergence of Bobby Lashley. I think they're really starting to make Lashley look like a killer. I think there was a story that played all throughout with The Miz. I mean, don't forget, Miz being champion was significant. This was just after Elimination Chamber. I think the Charlotte Ric Flair promo was very, very good as well. There was a few bits that were on Raw that made it a much better Raw than what we've seen in recent weeks. I gotta say, there's just a lot of on AEW this week. I have no problem in saying I think Raw was better than AEW this week, because I don't think I've been able to say that for months and months and months. But if someone was to say, what would you watch again? Would I watch Raw? I mean, the thing is, Raw's 3 hours, AEW's only 2. So if I had to watch something again, maybe I would watch AEW because it is only 2 hours. But yeah, I think Raw was a better show than AEW this week. Days, who in WWE would you have beat Karrion Kross? I would have it be Finn, but he loses the first time. Oh, that's interesting. And he brings back the Demon. Oh, I'm not sure about bringing back the Demon. I know he's a cool look, and I know people enjoy it and everything, but I think this version of Finn Balor is the best version of Finn Balor we've ever had, to be honest. I think he's cool, moody, dark, hard-hitting. He's kind of like the Demon meets Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor, this is the most over Finn Balor has been as well. I think he's just cool. Well, I say the most over. I understand the Demon was over, but the Demon's just makeup. All it is body paint. Yes, it was cool. Yes, it worked. Yes, it would work again. But was it getting Balor over? Was it working for Balor? Because, like, when you didn't get the Demon, did people care about Finn as much? I don't know. I think this is the most over Finn has been when he's not been the Demon. I don't know that I'd bring it back. I don't know that I would bring it back. In fairness, I don't know if I would have took it away in the first place, so I don't know if I would even be in this situation, but they did take it away. They can bring it back for like a very special occasion, but I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't do it. I think now they've got us to the point where when it's a takeover, we know we're not getting the Demon, and that has to be better for Finn's career. Because he feels like a big star now. He feels like a Seth Rollins. He feels like someone that could go to that main roster and offer something that he wasn't offering before. He seems very focused, very serious. He's kind of like a tweener. He cuts vicious promos. So he could be the one that beats Karrion. In fairness, I don't know if I'd have anyone beat Karrion in NXT. I'd probably have him undefeated and then call him up and then just take it from there, to be honest. I think you could maybe do like what they did with Asuka. Just have him go undefeated in NXT, call him up, and then we'll deal with it then. She ended up losing at WrestleMania to Charlotte. Maybe Karrion ends up losing at WrestleMania to Roman or something like that. So if I was to book it, I wouldn't have him lose to Balor, but I don't mind Balor. I think that's a perfectly fine shout. But I would probably have him undefeated in NXT or keep him going where, he keeps grinding out wins and he's largely undefeated or whatever and then goes to the main roster. Wow, 20 minutes passed already. I thought you gave NXT a 7.75. What you gave NXT? I did give NXT a 7.75. Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. I think Finn said the same thing. Oh, he might have. He might have. I feel like that's why they're doing it, to be honest. What's next for Bobby Fish? Recovery. Recovery. Rumors are Vince only wants Adam Cole. Oh, okay. Interesting. What do you think Bliss is going to do next to Randy? No idea. No, I am definitely the wrong person to ask. Finn was asked if he would ever bring back the Demon. He said the same thing that you just said. He felt like everyone was behind the Demon and not him. Right. Yeah. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I might have even seen him say that. I can't remember it, but it makes a lot of sense. And I totally can believe that's why they've done it. Yes. Because I think taking the Demon away is kind of a big
Ghost
thing.
is a legend. They donated $5 via a super chat.
So that makes sense.
I said it a few weeks ago, but I really can see a Cole versus O'Reilly versus Balor triple treat at WrestleMania. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I can see the triple threat. I don't know if O'Reilly is that big of a star. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I mean, like, it was kind of significant when they started pushing him as a solo star. And it was really significant when he started, like, main event in a takeover. Is he big enough to be at WrestleMania? I mean, all I would say is it's a triple threat. That match has got tons of star power with Balor and
Dawes
Cole.
is a legend.
Might be a nice
They
way to
donated
introduce him to
£5
casual.
via a super chat. Finn is the closest to his Bullet Club leader persona. Maybe now's the time for him to have a faction? Maybe the remnants of UE?
That's really interesting, actually. That's really interesting. I never thought about it that way. Maybe you do give Undisputed Era to Finn Balor, and perhaps Adam Cole goes solo now. Maybe Adam Cole goes to the main roster as a solo star, because if those rumors are true, Vince wants Cole, but he doesn't want Undisputed Era. And maybe you give the other 3 members to Finn Balor, and perhaps Balor Club is born. So perhaps what comes out of the split is that, yeah, you could be right, Anna. You absolutely could be right. So perhaps we do get Balor Club. I mean, I know Balor Club, I think, was meant to be the fans, but that would be the most logical name, wouldn't it? So, yeah, I like that. I like that. That's very interesting. Butterspark says, can't wait for Big Slow on AEW. I'm worried that if Kross gets called up, he'll be separated from Scarlett because Vince won't like a monster with a female manager. Oh, I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I think as a package, them two together are they're money. They are money. Karrion Kross is a monster, but there is something very interesting about, you know, the Beauty and the Beast dynamic. So I don't think he would split them. I don't think he'd split them. I don't think you need to worry too much about that. I think Vince sees money in both. So I think he would be excited by that as a package deal. She is kind of like, in a way, dare I say, a little bit like Sable. You know, she's obviously very attractive. She's blonde. She's quite happy to wear next to nothing on a regular basis. You know, Sable was with Mark Mero. She's with Karrion. Karrion is a bigger prospect than what Mark Mero was. I think he's licking his lips. I don't think Karrion Kross is in NXT for long. Vince has got to be salivating at the thought of bringing up... I don't know when he does it. But I'm not saying the night after WrestleMania. I'm not saying it's going to be that quick, but could be later this year, in all fairness. We'll have to see. Are you watching Impractical Jokers? Scarlett should be in the women's division because I know she can wrestle. Volta versus Kross, what are your thoughts? No one really wins there. That would be my concern. I like the idea of those two facing each other, but the problem is that someone's got to win. And I know that you could have Imperium get involved, but I don't want it. I just want clean finishes now. I think I'm really at a point where, you know, it's becoming apparent that the matches that I'm enjoying, it's becoming apparent to me that I'm enjoying. I don't know if I've just seen too much outside interference and I just need a break from it. But you get it all the time. The matches I'm enjoying are just clean finishes. So I think if you're going to do Volta versus Karrion, it needs to be a clean finish. I think it'd be a great match. The problem is someone has to win, someone has to lose. I think they would book it where Imperium would get involved, and I think that would be a shame. I would book it once you were happy that someone's going to lose this. If you can accept someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, then book it. I think it's a big match. I think you got to build to it. I think you need to know someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. I think they'd probably book Karrion winning. It would be epic. It would be WrestleMania worthy. I mean, if you did Volta versus Karrion for the NXT UK title at WrestleMania, that'd be incredible. That would be incredible. I mean, the NXT UK title deserves some respect. It's a great championship, and it does represent a brand. And I know it's never been defended at WrestleMania, and maybe Volta's not quite big enough to be there, but I don't know. It certainly would look impressive, wouldn't it, that match? So, but the problem is someone would have to win and someone would have to lose. So I wouldn't be booking it yet. Let's put it that way. Is there a public stream tomorrow? I genuinely don't know. I'm going to have to give it some thought. Last week I did have in mind to do an Elimination Chamber one because obviously we were building to that, but haven't really got anything in mind for a public stream tomorrow, so not too sure yet. Have you seen the new Superman? No. Are you doing Total Divas tomorrow? No. I can't wait to watch WrestleMania, Hayden. Shout out to you, my friend. Thoughts on Volta versus Davey Boy Smith Jr.? That would be good, but Volta should win. I'm glad that Shayna and Nia versus Dakota and Raquel is in NXT because there is more of a chance of a clean finish. Yes. Right, guys, we are done. We've stuck around for quite a bit after. I mean, in all fairness, it's never a chore to stick around and talk wrestling with you guys. And I think that is something that I'm really enjoying about Wednesdays now. I think for a long time, I kind of struggled with where Wednesdays kind of fit on the channel because it is more serious wrestling. And so the streams naturally become more serious because, I mean, we laugh and joke on Raw, we laugh and joke on SmackDown, we have tons of fun on Wrestling Escape Pod. But what do we do on a Wednesday? Because by and large, there's not as much comedy, and the comedy we do get is a bit hit and miss. But I think tonight I've really enjoyed some of our conversations, and I think some of the points that the community has made have been excellent. I'm not just saying that. I think like some of the stuff Anna Dawes has been throwing in, Going Ghost has been throwing in. Just, do you know what I mean? Like, I think this is kind of the night where we really throw like some of the theories out there. We talk about where wrestling is, what we enjoy, what we would like to change. There's no rights and wrongs when it comes to these kinds of things. It's just a night really where I suppose we can really dig into our opinions a little bit more. So I've really enjoyed this stream. And maybe it's a bit of an indicator as to what Wednesday's going to be like going forward. But yeah, make no mistake about it. You know, Raw streams are going to be wacky and wild, and some are SmackDown streams and whatever. But I think on a Wednesday where you get a bit more serious wrestling and, you know, it's a bit more wrestling focused, then maybe the stream kind of reflects that. And I've got to say, though, I've massively enjoyed it. And I hope you have as well. So with that being said, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. We'll have to literally wait and see. I need to have a think about it because we are coming off the back of a big weekend. We had a big UFC show, obviously Elimination Chamber, into Raw, into Escape Pod, into tonight. So tomorrow is a breather, if anything. But we'll see if there is anything. If not, it'll be Friday with SmackDown. And, of course, then we've got the UFC fight night this weekend. Heavyweights going at it again as we build towards UFC 259. And I'm sure we'll do some at Sunday. We'll do something. If we don't do anything tomorrow, we'll do some at Sunday. So we'll have to wait and see. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate the support. Have a great evening wherever you are. I am literally off to eat something now because I got up about an hour before the stream started. So I still haven't had anything to eat. So I'm off to have something to eat right now. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.